Do you like basketball? Basketball nung. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only NBA podcast that talks about every team every week. If your team is still active in the postseason, and if you're subscribed to the Patreon, this is this week's free episode. You can go to patreon.com/state of the league to get. Please. Hey, we're up like 5 this week. I think we're at like 120 right now. So I'm cool with that. Thank you to all our loyal lobbyists, but 130 wouldn't hurt. 1 million might not even hurt. Who's to say? I'm Jack, aka Joestar. With me as always, the world famous Pablo Escobar. We are breaking down the Western Conference playoffs this week. Pablo, how you doing?
At 1 million Patreon subs, we will form our own militia and we will take over a franchise by force. We will go to Jerry Reinsdorf's office. We will force him to sign over the paperwork and give the team to the community. And we'll do it for everyone. We'll go.
Hell yeah.
We'll go to Washington. We'll go to Monumental Sports owner. We'll go kill your friend there just because he's complicit. I'm sorry about
shit.
it. But
well, I'll still get free tickets. So, Michael, I'm sorry if you're listening. Damn, dude.
Only stat fans and accolade watchers are surprised by what Jamal Murray does in the playoffs. Stats can't measure his greatness. He doesn't have the mainstream acclaim all season, but when it's real basketball, he thrives. Polished game and killer mentality. This is a reading brought to you by Ball Don't Stop on Twitter. My Lord and Savior, follow Ball Don't Stop.
Everyone go follow Ball Don't Stop, baby. Wise words.
How do you think he knows if Jamal Murray is doing good in the playoffs?
Like if he doesn't look at stats?
Yeah. How do you know he's doing better? Like, well, how can he tell me he's doing better? Well, I guess he made the game winners, even though the overall game wasn't great. So he's like, well, he won the game.
Yeah, I think it's literally just that. And the fact that game 5 was like better by proxy. Game 5 was straight up good, I'll say. But like, yeah, it's literally just the fact that like he hit the game winners. I mean, I can't imagine he was like, God, this is just variance after game 4. I can't imagine he was like, these are tough shots. No one's going to be perfect, but you know, tough shot makers. That's who Jamal Murray is. So you guys just have to hold out for next game. And then he was like doing victory laps. I assume he's only there when shit's going well. I don't ever think he has to like justify his opinions when they're wrong.
I also love that he comes after accolade watchers. I didn't realize he was separate to them, but now I realize like he's not rings culture. He's just cool. He's whoever's the coolest looking player.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and so he's like J.R. Smith. He's a killer and stuff like that.
If you go like through his all-time lists are some of the best, where it's like it is like good stuff. Like they're it's fine. Like I don't know. He'll have like Jokic pretty high, Kevin Durant obviously super high. Just like all these current guys that are obviously really good at basketball. And then you'll get like to 22. 22, it's like Jamal Crawford. And you're like, whoa. Wait, and like it's just because he's cool. He's so sick, dude. How can you have any lower?
Have Iverson top 10, right?
He might. But Iverson, it's almost he's too quick. He's too athletic. He needs to be like there's not enough. Like it's too much burst to the rim layup shit. There's not enough like footwork fadeaway involved with Iverson. But yeah, his also we should do like
ones who take the most dribbles.
Yeah. Yeah. And like him digesting the Suns Wolves series in real time was pretty fun to watch. I don't know if you saw, I only saw like 1 or 2 of those tweets where he was just like, I don't know how this happened. The Wolves' physicality is just too much, man. Like, just obviously, like, how is this not working? God damn it. It's 3 tough shot makers. So, yeah. But he rocks. Shout out to Ball Don't Stop, man. Shout out to that entire philosophy. As long as you have fun with the way you think about basketball, who cares, man?
I don't think he's having fun. I think he's, like, going to war. I think he thinks he's, like, the intellectual thought leader of the world, and everyone needs to get on. He's like a missionary. He's like
Wow.
people don't get it. I need them to see because
He needs to spread the word, man.
do you know his pinned video is on Twitter?
No.
It's him having Will Barton on his
Oh
podcast,
my
and
God.
it's Will Barton explaining why Kobe is the GOAT, and he's like, he could do everything, man. It didn't matter, and he had the mentality and whatever.
I'm so surprised that Will Barton loves Kobe Bryant. I could not have seen that coming from a fucking mile away, man. Oh my God, that rocks. Shout out to Will the Thrill as well, a dunk contest guy. Nuggets legend. Was a little, in retrospect, I probably look at him through nostalgia colored glasses now, but in the moment, in 2021 and 2022, I was probably not the biggest Will Barton guy on the planet. I'll say that much.
Will Barton was the least valuable player in the NBA, voted or last year by Reddit, by the guy on Reddit who does it.
Uh-huh.
And it was he had to count people who played. He's like the LVP has to be the guy who actually gets minutes and does the most damage to his team possible. And it was Will Barton last year. But shout out to Will the Thrill Barton, younger Will Barton. He was something.
He was sick. He was sick, dude. He was a nice little microwave scorer. He could help a good team. Yeah. So shit. After the ball don't stop quote, we're getting right in. Where do you want to start? We have 3 series that are done, so we can look through in retrospect, and we can kind of look forward to the second round matchups that we have set, and the hypotheticals even with Dallas and the Clippers. So where do you want to start?
I'll let you take point guard on this.
All right, I'll
You
initiate. All right. Swing it to the wing, and Pelicans Thunder catches the ball, and they get into like a triple threat stance. Okay, so let's start. Pels Thunder probably. Is it the most one-sided series, you think? I feel like the 2 sweeps, obviously, with Phoenix and Minnesota, but the talent level of Phoenix, it felt a lot more threatening than New Orleans did. After you saw like 2 games of what Lou Dort was doing to Brandon Ingram, you were like, well, I don't really know what the ceiling of this offense looks like if you can't even get like 25 out of Ingram. So, yeah, this was the Thunder obviously complete the sweep on New Orleans. Zion never appears in the series. Kind of a fraudulent win. Kind of doesn't even count.
That's not accurate because he was actually on the bench, pumping up his teammates, giving them insight. So he appeared, just not on the court.
Okay, all right, my fault. So yeah, like his impact. Maybe he's a bad teammate because he couldn't even get his team a win through inspiration off the bench. Like that. Have we ever factored that in?
Well, I wonder, like, you know how great players are not great coaches. Do you think he's on the sidelines? He's like, no, just drive in and finish over him. Just dunk.
You're not going left enough, dude. Use your left hand. What are you doing?
They can't stop you when you go left.
They haven't patched this yet. It's so exploitable. Oh my fucking god. Yeah. So
I think they almost won a game, right?
They almost won the first game. The first game made it seem like it was going to go 7 games. Like it was incredibly close. But then, yeah.
How close did the Suns get? They never got close, did they?
I don't know. Let me pull it up real quick. I thought like it just feels like it would have been closer, but I guess you're right. Like if there's one close game in this series, and the Suns never really get that close. So the Suns, they lose game 1 by 25. They lose game 2 by 22. They lose game 3 by, what is that, like 17? And then they lose game 4 by 6. But it wasn't like, game 4 wasn't super close. It didn't feel like super nerve-wracking if you're Minnesota. And you also have the 3-0 lead to kind of lean on. Like you're not panicking even if you lose that game. But it never felt like Minnesota was freaking the fuck out or didn't know what they were going to be able to do at any point in that game. Even though Booker, I mean, that was like his best game of the series, 49 points on great efficiency, but Phoenix just very underwhelming.
Him and KD finished this year. Well, actually, we're not on their series. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk Pelicans Thunder. Yeah.
The Pelicans, is just the team did not have enough. If we've learned, well, actually, You know what? We probably are being a little unfair to Brandon Ingram because he's coming off a big injury. He's hardly played, and he did struggle a lot. But where are you at with Brandon Ingram as a player? Because he did in the Phoenix playoff series that he played before, he played really, really well against Mikal Bridges and the 64 win Suns or whatever back then. He was like efficient 20 something plus points.
What was his injury again?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. I'm really torn on Ingram because I do feel, I was thinking while I was watching him, and it feels like Chris Middleton is like a solid comp for what you would want him to be next to Zion in terms of like can defend at a high level, good playmaker, and good without the ball in his hands, which is what you kind of, when you watch Ingram now, when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's not super impactful. And that's the argument for like, if you look at what you need around Zion and you compare what Brandon Ingram looks like without the ball to what Trey Murphy looks like without the ball, Trey Murphy is a better off-ball player and probably a better defender at this point as well. I think Ingram can become good, but like when I lay it all out like that, I'm like, Trey Murphy should probably, like, they should at least experiment with him starting, I guess.
Zach Lowe said straight up they have to start Herb and Trey Murphy together.
Yeah. I don't even, does that like necessitate benching Ingram though? Because what if you bench CJ and you just like have like 4, 6, 6, 6, 7 guys and a center out there?
I guess when it comes, I don't know. That'd be interesting because Ingram, I'm sure they've done it at some point. I'm sure they've run that lineup. So I'd be interested to see.
Yeah, I don't have any stats out on it or anything.
But I feel like it could be too many cooks in the kitchen. But Herb and Trey are off ball, so I don't know. I'd be interested to see how that lineup does. But I feel like they probably are. CJ's probably better at attacking off the ball.
Yeah, I guess. But like even when
and Ingram doesn't. I heard. I was just listening to a podcast where KOC said he shoots 30% from 3 off screens. I think I forget if the qualifier was off ball or off screens, but either way, he's not the greatest off ball 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I don't know. So to me, when I was watching the Thunder Pelicans series, it seemed like they were targeting Ingram defensively, and CJ was not doing his job offensively. More so than it felt like it felt like CJ was the guy they were kind of ceding looks to, and he was missing. And that's kind of the vibe I got when I was looking around Pelicans Twitter as well. It was just like, holy shit. CJ for the series, 18 points per game, 5 assists per game on what is that true shooting? 47% true shooting, 24% from 3 on like over 5 attempts per game. He was spraying, but it was just not going in. And I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Like, you're just not going to find success when your best guy, I mean, nearly 30 points per game heading into the playoffs for that final like half month, whatever we talked about with CJ. If he drops down to that, it's just not going to work. So yeah, the Thunder did a really good job. They had like a great series as a team. Shay, do you think this is the hardest or the worst statistical series Shea is going to have? It feels like the Pelicans, there's an argument they're like the best equipped team to stop him from getting to his spots.
Well, yeah, he was in Herb jail. So how many Herbs? I mean, if Minnesota got through, then he's going to be dealing with like Jaden McDaniels and them. But who's next series for them?
Mavs Clippers winner, which like neither of those even though the Mavs like have shown that they can play good defense, guarding Shea is kind of different than necessarily playing good team defense.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, maybe Terrence Mann can perform some miracles like he's doing on Luka.
Oh my God. Well, you better hope Shea's playing on one knee too then at that point. Yeah, Shea in the series, 27 points, 5 assists, 55% true shooting, 29% from 3. Not like I mean, it's a great series. It's fine by superstar standards. But it did feel like Oklahoma City largely was winning like team talent wise, as opposed to just purely off of we have the best player in this series. Jalen Williams.
Well,
Fucking
they had also on that podcast, it was KOC and J Kyle Mann. They agreed that OKC had the 3 best players in the series. Like what number do you go down to get to a Pelicans player in the series?
Yeah, probably 3, or I mean probably 4, because I think Shea, J Dub, and Chet. I don't even think about Ingram at that. Like, I think all 3 of those guys, even with Chet not shooting the ball particularly well in this series, just everything he did defensively, I think he's better than Brandon Ingram at this point. And so yeah, I think Ingram, who's 4th for Oklahoma City, would it be like Giddey at that point, or would it be Lou Dort maybe?
Giddey did have I wrote it down. I think he was like 9 for 18 from 3 or something. So he was actually
50% from 3. He beat him up in the final game. Like they were leaving him open, obviously, like he was wide open, and he punished him pretty much every time. So yeah, Giddey was 12 points, 3 assists on 61% true shooting. Dort was 11 points and
Dort
2
was
assists.
awesome
But he was 67% true shooting, dude. He was 50% on 23 attempts. So even more volume. Yeah, I think I would probably go Ingram over those 2 guys. I think that's
what about her? What did Herb and Trey do for the series? Did they do well offensively?
No. No. Herb 13 points, 39% from the field, 33% from 3, 56% true shooting. Trey Murphy, friend of the program, love you, bud. 11
He'll be on next week, guys.
11 points on 47% true shooting. Not ideal. So yeah, like I said, when CJ's not hitting, when they don't believe in any of your offensive engines, when they're just stopping everything and every single shot you take is extremely difficult, your role players, there's a good argument that your role players suffer more than your stars if your stars' gravity is completely nullified the way that Oklahoma City did. So, yeah, I think I'd go Ingram 4th, but top 3, pretty easily Chet, J-Dub, and Shea to me.
Yeah, and this OKC team, like Alvarado and Najee Marshall, they're not like offensive players really. Nance, they tried to go small. JV, I think I think he's going to be a free agent this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're bringing him back. I don't know if he's.
I don't think they should.
I don't think he could really hang in this type of series. I think this is like even beyond the perimeter issues. I think this is like, okay, we're gonna need a different kind of center to hang with the teams at the top of the West.
Yeah.
They tried to go small with Nance, but that didn't really work. They were just like on paper, it seems like it would be closer just based off all the names, but just in reality, once you take Zion out of the equation, it wasn't really close.
Yeah. I wrote down the Valanciunas matchup. A lot of people thought it was gonna be like super damaging going into this series.
Yeah. Because that's and I'm not even saying I'm not part of this, I'm part of this too, but that's just like caveman basketball brain. Like,
he's big.
That guy's pretty strong. Chet's pretty skinny.
Yeah. It turns out you actually you can't just be big. You also have to be good. And so like that's tough. I don't know. It was fine, but you can't just do 15-second post ups that are you can't shoot 55% on those and then be like, that's that's our only offensive look that works a lot of times, which that was the case for New Orleans. Like when Ingram was really clamped and CJ would miss 3 or 4 threes in a row and they would just dump it to the post for Valanciunas. It was like, dude, you're going to score 70 points in this game if you keep running offense this way. It's just horrific. So yeah, Jalen Williams, 21 points, 60% true shooting. He led the team in fourth quarter points per game. After game 1, he was scoreless, but game Well, game 1 he was scoreless, and then game 2, 3, and 4 he averaged 9 points in the fourth quarter on 63% shooting from the field, not even true shooting. So he fucking rocked. He was super good. Chet rocked, even though, like I said, he was like 30% from 3, and you didn't even really feel it just because he was kind of outclassing Valanciunas in a lot of other areas. And then we already touched on Giddey and Dort. I mean, OKC outclasses this roster if Zion's not playing from a talent standpoint. And Zion's so good that, like, I think he would elevate them into this conversation where this would be a series. Because, like, there's so much gravity with him going to the rim that everyone else has infinitely more space to operate. But yeah, if he's not playing, it's just not a conversation.
Yeah. David Griffin said that they will not be running it back. There's going to be changes. And Ingram is going to be eligible to sign a $208 million extension this summer, I think. So he is almost certainly, like, it's like 95%, I think, that he gets traded. Because even if you like him, like, you're gonna have to pay Trey Murphy at some point, and you're gonna have to, so it's just not gonna work out, I think.
So he's eligible for that extension this summer?
I think so, yeah. But I think he's still under contract for another year.
So, like, someone would trade for him and then hope to so he becomes eligible this summer, but they have, like, the whole season to extend him. Kind of how Paul George is right now.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So where does this trade value sit? I wrote down a bunch of trades. I was in the Fanspo trade machine.
Nice.
So let's get
I was thinking about this, but I got too lazy. So I'm glad you filled it out. That's good. They hit me up. What do you got?
All right. And so some of these might be too ambitious. A lot of these might be under ambitious because I don't know what the rest of the league feels about him. Brandon Ingram for Max Strus and Jarrett Allen. Would they have to add picks, do you think? Do you think Cleveland would have to add picks?
Probably not. I don't think. I think Jared Allen's been good enough where, like, and the Pelicans are pretty desperate for a center. I think the Cavs would probably do that, and the Pelicans probably would too.
Is he the right center? Do you think? Would you feel comfortable with him in the West?
Yes, but I think he's like a really good starting center, but I think you also need to focus on your center depth at this point in the West. Like, you need a good backup too in a lot of these matchups, it feels like.
Yeah, it's what kind of center do they need? Because so a few years ago when they had Steven Adams, Zion had a ton of success playing with him because he was just like his blocker. He was like his offensive line in the paint. And but then also obviously you could be like, all right, I want to stretch 5 so I can just have wide open paint for Zion. What kind of player would you want to see there?
I guess it depends on, like, what kind of stretch 5 is available. I think I'd rather go like a Steven Adams role just in terms of cost. First of all, I think a stretch 5 is probably going to be harder to acquire.
Duop Reith, he'll be cheap.
Hey, there you go. Okay, dropping the pamphlets, baby. But I don't know.
And then how does Jarrett Allen fit into this? Because his strengths are, I think, lob threat, and then like short roll passer, like kind of like passing hub, and then also during over the course of this series, he's proven like he can just when the defense collapses, he can get near the hoop and then just toss in a little floater. So I think that skill set definitely translates to this Pelicans team. But how much pick and roll? Like right now, this is a team when Zion is healthy. This is a team that's just like Zion's not running pick and roll like that. And then also, I don't know how many short roll type situations they're generating, or like how much run Allen would get as a passer. So I wouldn't like how would he fit in offensively, do you think?
I mean, I think a part where he would really thrive is like cleaning up Zion's layups. I think he could really work on the offensive boards, especially like his man helping over to contest this fucking freight train that's coming at the rim. Like all the defenders are jumping to contest Zion. He's gonna have like a lot of easy rebound putbacks, which is a place he already thrives in Cleveland. As a passer, it would be more difficult, and I love his passing. He is a really good passer. But there's just not as many spots. Like Zion's so good and defenses are so aware of him that like he doesn't get that many opportunities to be a great cutter, even though he's such a good athlete. Like every time he's on the floor, like he's the thing that defenses are 100% aware of.
And
So
when he is off the ball, he kind of stops moving a lot. He got better as the season went on, but
yeah.
he did have that sick cut on LeBron. Do you remember that in the last playing game? There was a time where he back cut LeBron. I was like, no way. He
Yeah.
played.
I don't know. Yeah, fuck, man. I think Jared Allen would be fine,
I
but
wonder
I'm
if we
curious
could get
what
into some DHO stuff with Trey Murphy. I wonder if they could get on their Bam Robinson.
Oh, that could work. Well, what's the next package? I'm curious.
All right. So Donovan Mitchell is under contract for one more year, guaranteed, and Ingram is also. So, would you take that gamble? Would you be like, you know what, we're not going to probably can't go higher than this, probably. But do you take a chance on Donovan Mitchell, who is like, imagine if CJ McCollum could get to the rim. And Donovan Mitchell has struggled again in the playoffs this year, but also I think he's clearly not himself physically.
Yeah, he's hurt.
But it completely changes when you are playing off of Zion. And so he's had trouble meshing with Darius Garland, but Darius Garland is not Zion. He doesn't bend defenses like that.
I'm not sure I can think of two more different players than Darius Garland and Zion.
And so how would you feel about the Pelicans if they swap out CJ for Donovan Mitchell, this high rim pressure guy who also can pull up from three and who's also a really good passer himself, but he's tiny.
They swapped CJ out or Ingram out?
Ingram.
Okay.
And I think CJ's still on the team. I don't know if they would, because I think he's still under contract for like $30 million or something.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Pelicans. It's like the only risk there is him leaving. Like if you could go Ingram for Mitchell straight up, no brainer. Yes,
and he will almost for sure leave, right? Do you think? Unless they won a championship.
Yeah, like the Cavs have this bevy of talent, and they were extremely good, and it's still just like, his ass might be gone. Like, look at where they're at now. I mean, they're fucking scrapping with the Magic and everything. So, if you go to New Orleans and like you get 35 games out of Zion, like it's a bad Zion year or something, he's gone. Like he's immediately gone. So I think I don't think the Pelicans do that. I think it's too much of a risk. Like it doesn't seem like the team is in a space where you can bet it all on 1 year. Like I don't think they're winning the title next year with Donovan Mitchell, even if Zion is healthy, which is a huge question mark. I think they'd be close, but I think they probably still come up short. Yeah, I think Ingram is just like, if you're moving off of him, you kind of have to get something that's sustainable. That like you're moving forward into this Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion, like that kind of era. If you're moving off Ingram,
and then for the Cleveland side, I think obviously it would be good for them, but that just seems like a team to me that's a team that's destined to stay together for years and accomplish nothing. Like the Darius Garland, Brandon Ingram, Evan Mobley, like core, that to me is like perennial. That's like the Hawks of the 2010s. Like
if you told me they picked up
iterations.
If you told me they picked up Ingram, I would never feel more confident in saying that Evan Mobley never breaks like 16 points per game at that point. Like, and not even from like a fit standpoint or anything, just like that's that's the kind of big man that team would have. Like, he's a great defender, and he shows these flashes offensively, and he's got like this cool pick and roll shit, but like it just never works out for any concept of that team. So, yeah, I don't think I like the Jared Allen trade more than the Donovan Mitchell one.
All right, so we get that's number one so far. Ingram to the Magic. They can I believe they can absorb his money very easily. So it could be for nobody. It could be for anybody. So who would you like? This will probably be a pick centric trade. So first off, do you want more picks if you're the Pelicans? They actually have a lot of picks right now. And but do you want picks? Because you are kind of in a win now mode, right? But you could also flip the picks for somebody else. And so is there any package, like if it was like Jonathan Isaac plus picks, would you be interested if you're New Orleans? Or is there any, but like I don't think you're not gonna get Pablo, and you're probably not gonna get Franz. Would you want Franz?
I mean, I guess I'd want Franz just in terms of like you age down a few years. It feels like it doesn't feel like that much different of a player than Ingram right now. And so yeah, I mean, I'd like Franz. Jonathan Isaac, no, probably not. Like, you have enough health issues to worry about already with Zion without introducing that into the mix.
But
and then
man, the Isaac Herb Jones lineups, man,
that would be crazy. I mean, with where they're at with Valanciunas protecting the rim, for Jonathan Isaac to be that help side guy, that would be fucking crazy. But yeah, it's just like the health is not consistent enough. And then as far as their picks go, it doesn't feel like their picks are going to be super valuable. Orlando's are. It feels like they're on the up. Like, you're getting the 16th pick, the 15th pick, the 12th, 10th pick if you're lucky a lot of years. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that either.
And then like I think Suggs would be dope for New Orleans. I don't think the Magic would give him up for Ingram.
No. Because he's like the heart of their team, and not the anchor of their defense, but when he's like not there, their defense seems way nicer. Like, they seem like they're trying to be buddy with everybody, and Jalen Suggs makes them some fucking psychos. So yeah, I don't think they're giving Suggs up.
Yeah, so there's probably nothing there. And then even if you were to just like, let's say you add Ingram to this Magic team, take away nothing. Let's say they did it for all the picks in the world. They did it. Like, how much does that change their future? Because Ingram and Paulo are there's a lot of overlapping skill sets, and there's a lot of overlapping areas. So, like, who's gonna like, hey, it's my turn to dribble and back down for a mid-range turnaround?
Yeah, the fit's really clunky, and like all of the shit you have with Zion and Ingram, where Ingram's like not that good without the ball in his hands. Paolo's way worse at like handling 3 defenders than Zion is, which is what you're going to get if you're like trying to get Ingram off the ball and everything. I think, yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense to like take the ball out of Paolo's hands a lot just because he's such a good passer and offensive hub. It doesn't feel like you're like getting substantially better offense from like letting Brandon Ingram cook, even though he's a really good passer too. And maybe we're kind of overcomplicating it. Maybe they could, like, the ball movement would be a little freer with the Magic. It's a little sticky right now, but yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right if I'm Orlando.
Yeah, there's probably nothing there for either team. Miami, could they get some of the Dame package? Would either side do Ingram for Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, and Caleb Martin? Caleb is there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb's there. So Ingram for Hero, Jovic, and Caleb Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
You get younger CJ.
I think. Yeah. I think
you get a 6'10" shooting wing.
I think Miami probably doesn't do that.
Oh, you think Miami doesn't?
No, they love Hero, and they're already so high on Jovic. I mean, you thought they were high on Jovic before this season.
Yeah,
Now
he's
now he's
actually
played
hurt.
pretty well in a playoff series. You're going to need a fucking first overall pick to get this guy off our team. Yeah. I think it sounds the Pelicans would probably do that because Hero is good, and Jovic has like a lot of promise and everything, and Caleb Martin kind of fits what they're trying to do. I guess I'm just like, I wish I knew like more about where how the Pelicans felt about Ingram. It doesn't feel like we've gotten that many reports out of New Orleans camp.
Yeah, there was who was it? There was a report like last year where they were like, we think he doesn't play through injuries. We think when he gets hurt, he just sits out. He doesn't even try and play through it. So I don't know who that was from.
Well, I wonder if they feel that way after this postseason, baby. They're like play through injury, and then he goes out there and Lou Dort's just eating him alive for 48 minutes, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. When I said play, I meant play good through injury. Come on, man.
All right, Ingram plus friend of the show Larry Nance. He'll be on next week. Ingram plus Larry Nance for DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella.
Oh my God. And this is assuming they let Valanciunas walk.
Probably, right? But
the Valanciunas Clint Capella Twin Towers lineups in 2025.
They need a bench guy.
Oh man, that's how you fix having a bad center. Is just upgrade your backup center to also bad.
Hey, once he gets healthy, things will go back to normal. And this one, I feel like might happen because they had some DeJounte Murray interest during the regular season this year.
Yeah, but like, I mean, do you think DeJounte would like playing off of Zion? Like, it seems like he loves it when the ball is in his hands.
I think he probably would be like, yes, I'm the point guard here. Finally, I'm away from Trey. This team doesn't have a point guard. I'm the point guard. So this is going to be my show. And then he'll realize, oh, crap. We just run the ball through him. I'm off the ball again.
Ah, shit. Point Zion. I thought that was just a figure of speech. I thought that's just because he made a cool pass. I didn't realize he was
Maybe they could run some DeJounte Zion pick and rolls. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I wonder what Zion's stats are as a roller. I'm sure he's fine, but
I feel like we don't see it that much.
Yeah, like
Pelicans fans, how often do they do it?
Because let us know. Let us know in the comments, baby. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that feels as far as talent goes. Ingram for DeJounte feels pretty 1-to-1. Like they feel like similar caliber players. I just don't
they do a lot of the same things. I think it's like Murray is also like, let me cook from the mid range.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I think people would get excited about the defense. They'd be like, wait, he's a really good defender. Him and Herb Jones, that's awesome.
Whoa. Maybe he could get back to where he was defensively. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe in an infrastructure like that. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Atlanta's just like, when you have a good defensive guard, which like he's not right now, it doesn't even matter if your defense is as bad, just like piece-wise as Atlanta's is. You kind of see the same thing in Chicago with Caruso, where it's just like he's locking this guy up and everybody else is just fucking torching us, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think I still like the Jared Allen trade the best, if you could pull that off. Like Jared Allen for Ingram in terms of talent exchange, I think Allen is a considerably better player.
Brandon Ingram to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges and Dennis Schroeder.
Oh my fucking God.
Would the Pelicans have to throw in picks for this one?
Yes, because the Nets are psychos about Mikal Bridges. Yeah, they would absolutely have to, but I think if this was on the table, I think they should do it. I like, if you like comparing, if you want an off-ball guy, a guy who can just defend, and like if you ask him to cook, he can probably bail you out in certain situations, but he's not always like, please let me dribble the basketball. Bridges is absolutely your guy, and you would still need to upgrade at the point guard position. Like Schroeder's not the answer there, But if you could get Bridges, yeah, that'd be a fucking great defensive team. And their 3-point shooting gets better. Yeah, I would like that a lot.
Well, then what would that? So Zion, Herb, Bridges, Murphy. Is the last spot a center or is the last spot a point guard?
I think the last spot is probably a center. I think, damn, that would be tough though. You really have to have confidence in Zion as like
Yeah.
point Zion, because there is no alternative in that lineup. Like we've seen what Mikal looks like initiating offense in Brooklyn, and we've seen what Trey and Herb look like trying to do it in this playoff series.
Some people, the Trey leap, will it come on ball? Who knows?
I mean, he's probably like, I think the on ball shot creation leap might come. I don't know about the on ball like facilitator leap.
So yeah, would you lock that in if you're New Orleans?
Yeah, if I'm New Orleans, lock it in. Figure out those other questions later.
Would you rather have him or Jared Allen?
Mikal Bridges or Jared? Probably Bridges.
Brandon Ingram for Pirtle, Kelly Olynyk, and probably Picks.
Oh God, no, I'm not doing that.
You get your big time center, your big time shot blocker. You get another stretch big, and then you get some.
How old is Pirtle, dude?
Picks. Jakob Pirtle. What draft is he, man? He's got to be like 2015 draft.
It feels like he is 40 years old, but he's probably like 27. He's 28. Okay, I think he'll be. Let me see. When's his birthday? Yeah, he'll be 29 next October.
Yeah. Is there anyone else on the Raptors? Do you think that? Because I actually think Scotty and Brandon Ingram would be an interesting combo, but I don't know if there's who would you want if you're the Pelicans from them? Like, could you get quickly? Do you think?
No, I think they just went. I don't think they're gonna like if they moved OG for quickly. I don't think they're gonna move quickly back for like another wing. Like I think they're trying to go into it. They're like, fuck, we finally got off this guy's contract. Let's go give Brandon Ingram a huge contract now, like 4D chess moves. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm looking at Toronto's like roster, I don't think you could get RJ Barrett for Ingram. I think they're probably pretty set on him with how well he played.
I do not want RJ Barrett if I'm the Pelicans, even with how he played, because even with how he played, he's the same as Brandon Ingram.
You don't want to get the Duke boys back together. Come on, man.
Zion would like it, but I'll tell you what. It was horrible on the court at Duke too. So I don't think too much has changed.
Oh man, yeah. I don't think there's anybody else in Toronto that I'm like falling all over myself to get. I think Gary Trent could be good somewhere. I don't think he's really like the centerpiece of an Ingram trade caliber good. I would still way rather do the Mikal Bridges or the Jared Allen thing that we talked about. So yeah, those two are still my favorites that you said. Is that all of them?
No.
Holy shit, more. Cook, let me go. All right, let's go.
Ingram and Picks for LaMelo Ball. Could it be done? Could they pull it off? Could Charlotte be like, this guy's hurt all the time. He's running red lights. He's Hollywood. He's probably going to want out of here soon. We're done with him. I
think it could work.
Let's get a guy who's just like Brandon Miller, kind of.
Yeah. He could show Brandon Miller the ropes on how to be a nice, promising young wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Charlotte would. Would they do that?
Well, New Orleans would definitely do it because that's what you would want in your point guard. 6'8" LaMelo Ball, shooting, passing, everything. It just comes down to like if you're running Charlotte, would you do that?
Oh man. I think I would.
I would not. I would absolutely not. I
think I would because I'm hedging.
think you could get somebody better for sure for LaMelo.
I don't know because to me the picks like
And
if you
they do have a lot of picks they have an unprotected Lakers pick next year.
the
They
Hornets or the
the
Pelicans.
Pelicans, they can choose whether it conveys this year or it becomes unprotected next year. So they're definitely gonna do
Oh,
that. And then they have like Bucks pick from something. They have a decent amount of picks.
okay. All right. Well, if I was saying if I'm getting New Orleans first rounders,
And you could get New Orleans first
like
round.
if I got like a 2028 unprotected first rounder from New Orleans, I think I would like that a lot. I don't know, like with what maybe like you're kind of just hedging against Zion having the Embiid career arc. You're hoping that
And LaMelo, you're like those ankles are rough.
yeah, yeah. Which like if you're moving off LaMelo, I think you're probably already confident in
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think I would just do it if I could get New Orleans own picks. And maybe that Lakers pick that's pretty juicy. Especially deciding like or considering what LeBron's gonna do this offseason and everything. Yeah. I don't know. I probably would, but I don't think either team. The Pelicans do get substantially better on paper, but then it's like the same thing as fuck, who were we just
And
talking
you know
about?
what? LaMelo is sneaky off-ball player already. Like he's
Yeah.
never been like heliocentric or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
him playing in that CJ role, playing off the gaps where Zion collapses, kicks out to him, he would wreck. He is him as passing against a scrambled defense is unreal.
Dude, him with like Zion's collapsed it, kicks out, LaMelo catches it, Trey and Herb cutting to the basket. Oh my fucking god, dude. Yeah, that would be sick as hell.
and
But it
you're
is
not giving up height. He's not a good defender, but he's 6'8".
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he needs to go hang out. Don't have him hang out with Lonzo. We don't need to. The ankles,
They can hang out in the hospital. No.
knees are more scary than ankles to me. Like you could just put on higher. You could put on like thigh high ankle braces, and then just like you'll be good to go. But knees are a different story. Yeah. But I think if New Orleans does it, you're still like you're introducing another variable as far as health goes. You're now like our two best guys, we have no fucking clue if they're gonna play or not. But it's sick when they do.
Also, Brandon Ingram is a Raleigh guy, I think. Or no, is he maybe I'm mischaracter because it
He
maybe
went to Duke, didn't he?
that he's definitely a North Carolina guy. I forget. Google Brandon Ingram hometown. He has like a specific hometown. I might be insulting him by saying he's from Raleigh. But yeah, he that would be a hometown guy. He went to Duke.
Kinston, North Carolina.
Kinston?
Yeah.
Or not Kingston? Just
Kinston. No
Kinston.
G. Lasagna.
Yeah, Kinston's own Brandon Ingram coming back to North Carolina, so he would probably like it. And that like you could sell that to your fan base, I suppose. So it wouldn't be the craziest blockbuster.
Yeah. All right, give me your last one. We got
All right, rapid fire.
yeah, send them out.
Ingram plus a boatload of picks for Laurie, because that's what it would take, because Danny Ainge is crazy.
I think I'd do it if I'm New Orleans.
Would you do it if you're Utah?
Yes, because I don't think Utah is gonna like build a successful team around Laurie. I think they're too many years out, and like he'll be 30 by the time the assets kind of develop.
I don't do it if I'm Utah because ice price is already better at a lot of the stuff.
Okay. Oh, you probably wouldn't do it then. Yeah, that would make you if they traded for Ingram. Oh my god.
Ingram to Memphis for Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, and maybe a pick. What if it was the pick from this year, the top 10 pick?
Yeah, I think that would probably work. If not, Marcus Smart's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
He'd be interesting though in that Pelicans lineup, but
he would be cool. Yeah,
that might be, and then they could take like Klingon or whatever. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that if you're Memphis? Would you be interested in having that wing?
No, probably not, because you already have Vince and GG Jacks. I feel comfortable going into next year with just the young guys and just the guys we have established, and like trying to get continuity back with that group rather than like adding in another 20-5 guy to the lineup.
Ingram for DeAndre Ayton.
No, no, I'm not doing that.
What if you could get Thibault too?
Still no. Oh shit. Well, I mean, when you put it like that. Oh
All right.
God.
All right, last one. Ingram for Mitchell Robinson, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Deuce McBride. Does either team do this?
New York does not. New Orleans does.
Would it change if it was Hartenstein? But he's going to be a free agent, so they probably wouldn't do this. But if it was Hartenstein, Bojan, and Deuce, does either team do it? Or does New York do it?
I think probably still not, especially with all the rumors about New York looking at Booker this offseason.
Yeah.
I don't think.
But Ingram does that, but taller. He's also mid-range guy, but taller.
How much taller is Ingram? I feel like people always talk about him like he's 6'10". I swear to God, he's 6'7", dude.
I think he's 6'8" or 6'9", but man, that wingspan. It's like 7'2".
He's 6'8", but yeah, his arms are gigantic.
But yeah, that's the end of
all
my.
Right. I like Mikhail.
Shea had a son named Aries.
Oh, congratulations,
That
Mr.
baby
Gilgeous-Alexander.
has enormous feet. Look up the baby pic. He has giant feet.
Yeah, let me Google baby feet pics real quick. What a pro wants, what a pro needs, whatever makes me happy.
Did you see they changed the commercial?
No, what?
They added in an instrumental, so it's no longer a cappella. There's like a little beat going on in the background.
Whoa, I have not seen that yet. I'll keep an eye out. Every time it comes on, I fucking break my computer. I'm like, I don't want to see this commercial anymore. So that'll save me a lot of money.
Did you see Bill Simmons? Well, did you see Bill Simmons' version of No Flex Zone?
Yes, I did. I like it. Do you want to give it a go on here?
No. That's Bill Simmons' version. It was the worst rendition possible. Bad. How he can't understand them saying no flex zone? I guess he doesn't know. What are the chances Bill Simmons?
We're back. Do you remember what you were saying?
Yes. So Bill Simmons did his top 3 most annoying commercials of the playoffs, and the Shea Chet one did not make it.
That's a bad take. It's the worst one.
His top 3 were the Caitlin Clark State Farm commercial, which I guess they play a lot. That one did not stand out.
He hates women. He hates women.
The No Flex Zone, which he could not say. No, but and then I forget what his.
It was the Burger King. Because I didn't like that take Burger either. King. Well, because he's sponsored by Burger King in the same episode. I don't know if you saw that. He had an ad read earlier in the episode where he was like, they have the best commercial song of all time. Oh my God. And then like, he's like, I fucking hate, I can't stand this. I can't listen to it anymore. Me personally, I've come full circle on the BK song. It's after DeMar Hamlin nearly died and it came on the TV. And now I'm like, holy shit. Like this is the
song's life.
Who's that baseball player? Castellanos, who always hits home runs. Like BK's, it's the version of that. So yeah, I walk around singing Whopper, 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 Whopper. What a pro wants. I'll be looking for the instrumental version, but I did not like the acapella. It seemed like the writing wanted it to be funny, and then the directing, like. The way they're shot, the way they're dressed, the way the color is graded, like it seems like it wants it to be like a Dior commercial almost. Like it looks too cool. So it exists in this very weird space where I don't know how to feel about it. So yeah, I don't like that commercial.
Could Edwards and Cat pull it off?
Yes. Because Ant's got, I mean, he's better. He's got a personality. And like Ant's, is he with Adidas?
What are the Ant ones? I don't know, but his shoes are selling out. I saw.
Yeah, well, he's got some cool commercials where it's just like him in like an empty, like pink room, pink backdrop type thing, where it's just like him being himself, and those are way better commercials than what a pro wants. So yeah, I think him and Cat, because Cat's pretty silly too. Cat doesn't take himself too seriously.
You know
Um,
what commercial is gonna backfire is the playoff one. Playoff Jason Tatum is not a thing. It's not a
we
thing.
know, buddy. He's 23 points per game. Oh my god. Um, yeah. Shout out to Chris Rock, man. Oh, did you? Well, we'll say, I mean, for the Eastern Conference episode on Patreon. But Maxi, when he hit that shot last night, there's a picture of Ben Stiller
Yeah.
just in his face, like, oh, like fucking so mad. Oh, that's so funny.
John Stewart was just like in shambles.
I wonder what Action Bronson was doing when that happened. I'd love to see that reaction. All right. Lobby requests. Zion's gumbo. CJ McCollum slander. He's not worth 53 or 35.
Wait, is Zion's Gumbo the name?
Yes.
Okay.
From Zion's
I
gumbo.
thought you were using gumbo as a verb. Zion's Gumbo.
Zion's gumbo. Gumbology. All right. He's not worth 35 mil. CJ McCollum isn't. And he handicapped
Hey,
his
I
Pels
think he
team.
makes 33.
Well, he's not worth that either. Yeah. I mean, I like the guy. He seems cool, but was not a good basketball player in this series. And when the three is as hit or miss as it can be with him, it just doesn't feel like him being your third best player. Does not feel like the team's really going anywhere. So maybe him as a six-man role, making less money perhaps on a new deal, the Green New Deal. So I don't know. I think that could work, but as it stands right now, yeah, he did handicap this Pels team a little bit, but like they weren't doing shit anyways. Even with like a good CJ series, they were not going to win this if Zion's not playing. Luke Holmes said skeleton jerseys may be dead, but their spiritual successors may have risen. What is your opinion on the new Rays City Connect jersey? Oh, I meant to send you a picture of this jersey. Have you heard about this at all?
I don't think so. They haven't worn this, have they? This is a new one?
Yeah. It's a new one where the Rays, it's like black and neon purple and green and a whole bunch of other shit. And I think, oh no, I saw a different one where a ray, like a manta ray, was riding a skateboard. This is not that. This is more like if
Wait, a
Miami.
manta ray is a manta ray like a stingray?
Yeah. It's like a big stingray.
Why is that on the Pelicans jersey?
No, it's on the Tampa Bay Rays jerseys.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, looking at these, I think they're cool. They're giving very much like Miami Vice, the pink and blue jerseys that they had for a while. And they're cool. They're all right, but the Skeletons are so sick. Like, I hope they keep those jerseys. I don't think they will because it's a new one every year. But yeah, I should have bought one. Damn.
What a disappointment.
Ebby Moshiri says, was letting Isaiah Joe leave the worst move in Sixers history, the worst mistake in Sixers history.
Was not playing Isaiah Joe the worst mistake in Doc Rivers history?
When did they have him and they weren't playing him?
When he was there, right?
I mean, yes. I'm trying to think like what, because he was in Oklahoma City last year too.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to think what playoff series. He was only in Philly.
Was he there the year they lost? No, not the year they lost. Well, I believe is he 2019 or 2020 draft?
Looks like he's 2020. He was a rookie when they lost to the Hawks, and then he was a sophomore when they lost to the Heat when Joel Embiid got his face broken by Siakam in the first round. I don't know if it's that big of a mistake. You kind of didn't know what you had, but it's definitely painful just because, I mean, you're looking for like...
It's an L that they didn't know what they had because he was like, he had a lot of hype from the draft nerds before. Like they were touting him as the best shooter in the draft, even though he shot like 33% the year before he came out, just because of like his mechanics and like all the indicators and stuff. And I think they definitely should have played him more. I don't think it's a case of like, well, we didn't know. Like when it comes to like the Bulls and like with Lauri Markkanen, like what he's become, like I don't even blame our front office for that. I'm
Uh-huh.
well, we saw what we saw, and it wasn't that, and then he ended up becoming that layer. But with Isaiah Joe, I think this has been there, but they didn't play it.
Okay. Well, yeah, fuck Doc Rivers then. Idiot.
Ruh.
I'll definitely say, yeah, like you're looking to Buddy Hield for production now. It's like, yeah.
Hey, but he gave Tyrese Maxey a big speech.
I mean, yeah, that's more production. Does Isaiah Joe have like that
Oh.
motivation within him to like spur Tyrese Maxey to like a 17 point or 7 points in 17 seconds kind of performance? I
No
don't think
way,
so.
because
Yeah.
he wouldn't be talking from a place, because they're the same draft, so he wouldn't be talking from a
Yeah.
place of superiority.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't
if
have the wisdom that comes along with not making the playoffs in Sacramento, New Orleans, or Indiana.
wow, buddy slander, he's not your buddy.
He's
So
fine.
if they kept Isaiah Joe, they never make the Hield trade. Tyrese Maxey never gets that talking to, and they never beat the Knicks
They're
yesterday.
done. They're done in the first round to the Knicks. So kind of a W, kind of a big W from the Sixers if you think about it that way.
Big dubs.
Big dubs. BLT Sammy says Lou Dort is the blank best perimeter defender in the league.
Oh.
I don't have a list off the top of my head. Herb Jones and Jaden McDaniels feel like names off the top. Caruso.
Like names.
Caruso feels better. But I don't know, dude. Lou Dort's so good. Fuck.
He really is.
Top 5, no problem. I'm totally chill with top 5. And if you like push him top 3, whatever, I don't care. Yeah. I mean, it's your fucking list.
I have no problem. If somebody told me he's the best perimeter defender in the NBA, I'd be like, okay, that's not crazy. So I'm okay with any Lou Dort praise at all.
Yeah.
He's so strong.
He is. He's buff as hell. Him and Ingram, it's like opposites. I mean, they're almost the same height. He's definitely a little shorter, but he's too beefy for all that. All right, that's all of it for Oklahoma City. I think. Calm little timestamp, an hour in. Damn, we're killing it. Oh shit!
Get him out of our face.
I'm trying. What is it? An hour and 2 minutes. All right. Now we're at you're next. You're next. I swung the ball to the wing. Oklahoma City and the Pelicans caught it. They faced up on the defense. Who are they passing the ball to next?
All right, let's do some Timberwolves Suns.
All right, I can get into that.
So Anthony Edwards is on top of the world right now. So I saw a post in their subreddit. They're like, soak it in, guys. Everyone's going to hate him eventually. And that's true. I was here when Joel Embiid had universal approval rating. I was here when Giannis had universal approval rating. When Steph Curry did. The tides always turn. They always change. So one day, Anthony Edwards will be hated for something. But that day is not today. So everyone celebrate him. Suns Kevin Durant said, I'm so impressed with Ant. He's my favorite player to watch in the game. He's grown so much since he came into the league. His love for the game shines bright. That's one of the reasons I love him the most. I love everything about him. Kevin Garnett tweeted, break every record. So this is the Ant show. And you know what? He had 31, 8, and 6 on 65% true shooting against the Suns. And I didn't realize he's already played. This is his third playoff series. I thought it was the second.
Who's the first? So Nuggets last year, and then they made like the crying Pat Bev.
The Grizzlies, I think.
Oh, that was a great series. Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so over the course of his 15 playoff games, he's 29, 5, and 6 on 62% true shooting. So up to this point, he's been a playoff riser. So yeah, Anthony Edwards is spectacular. Yeah, everyone played great for the team. They wrecked the Suns.
Yeah, that's what I started us off with the lobby request in my Wolves Suns bit. I said it's from Dylan. Shout out to Dylan. I'm sure it will get talked about anyway, but Ant is him. He's just, I mean, monstrous performance from both him and this defense. So in this postseason. Anthony Edwards is 5th in points per game, tied for 10th in assists per game. He's got like the 5th highest true shooting percentage among guys averaging 27 or more. He's averaging like 31. So if you want to just scale it up to 30-point scores, I'm sure he's arguably the most efficient guy in the league. Just like an insane level to play at for a 22-year-old. Even the off game, I can't remember. I think it was JJ Redick's podcast where they were like really hyping up his off game. He had 15 points at 3 of 12 shooting, but it was the Jaden McDaniels 25-point outburst where they just still stomped the Suns. And Anthony Edwards was still like, he wasn't bad body language. Like if Julius Randle had that game, he loses the Knicks the game just from like the aura coming off of him. But Anthony Edwards was really engaged defensively. He made lots of good hustle plays, all of that shit. And so, yeah, it's just, it's funny. We're doing like a lot of revisionist history on the Rudy Gobert trade now and how like it's actually good. Like the Beal trade deserved all the shit that the Gobert trade got, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if they don't hit on like, I don't know. Would you consider Ant like a generational talent? I don't know about that. Like when we're looking at him compared to Wemby or LeBron, he's maybe like the direct tier below that or something. But if Minnesota just hits on like an okay first overall pick, the Gobert trade's still shit. Like it doesn't matter. You need a guy who at 22 years old is ready to go toe to toe with the absolute best players in the world. And that's what Anthony Edwards has been in his postseason career so far. I mean, this was like kind of his coming out party in that regard, even though I maintain the Suns not the strongest first round opponent on either ends of the floor. Like I know they have this ceiling offensively, and Minnesota did a great job defending all of their scores and all this, but especially in game 4, like holy fuck, Bradley Beal. What are you doing, dude? Yeah, it was just it was a really rough series from Phoenix. Yusuf Nurkic, 15% playoff winning percentage, the lowest of any qualified player who's played enough games. Draymond Green posted that on his Instagram story.
Oh my god.
Kind of funny, kind of cooked his ass a little bit. So yeah.
It's like, hey, why don't you like that guy? Oh yeah, because I hit him one time and he got mad about it. Is that what's going on here? Is that the full story?
Oh my god, that does rock. Yeah. I was just being reckless. I crashed my car into his car, and then he called his insurance company, and so yeah, we just have beef now. He should have just ate that shit like a man.
He said, I need help, and then I went to therapy, and it didn't even help.
Yeah.
Edwards,
rumors.
I think when it comes, I don't see him being the best player in the world just because of the existence of Wemby, and I think he's probably on track towards being like top 5, like perennial top 5, maybe, hopefully. But yeah, it's so insane that he is like maybe the best leader in the NBA. Who would be up? I guess like Jokic and everything. It's so unbelievable that he's come into this situation where there's ownership turmoil. This is Minnesota, where nothing good ever happens. They sink all their assets into this Gobert trade. Gobert is unlikable. His teammates are always like, "Oh, I'm getting a ringing in my ear."
Okay.
The CIA, the Havana syndrome.
They don't want you to gas up Anthony Edwards, man. They're busting out the Cuba Ray. I'm scared.
The mainstream media is coming. Yeah, so they sink all these assets into the Gobert trade. It looks like a failure year 1, and then Gobert himself is notoriously unlikable by all his peers, and he gets into like fights with people he plays with.
The most overrated player in the league, giant.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if they were like NBA players, who's the biggest piece of shit in the NBA? Like he would run away with the award. It seems like nobody likes him.
And Towns, I think it's like that to a lesser extent. People are like, he's a fraud. We don't like him. Like Jimmy hated him and everything. And so, like, it's the situation is primed for him to walk into it and it to fail. And like, I was lower on Anthony Edwards. I might have had, I think I had him 5 or 4 on my 2020 draft board, and it's not because of talent, because everything you see today, it was not crazy to see him to think he could become this, because he is 6'5" and like in the Dwayne Wade tier of athleticism,
Mm-hmm.
and he was taking pull-up threes in college, so like it wasn't crazy for him to miss them. But the mentality wise, that was my question. Like I was thinking earlier today, if you lined up Anthony Edwards, Jalen Green, and Zach LaVine to me all as prospects, and you were like, and just purely as prospects, I didn't know how their careers panned out. If you told me to rank them, like in terms of who hits their potential and who like takes basketball the most serious and lives up to it, I would probably he would be for sure number 3. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just because before the draft, he's like, actually I'm a football player, actually I'm a rapper, and he's just like a very carefree, easygoing, relaxed guy. His team did not win at Georgia. He was just like, he wasn't efficient, and these stories weren't coming out of Georgia. Like it wasn't like he was lifting up everybody and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like a case of a guy who's like all the talent in the world. Is he actually going to hit it? I don't know. It's crazy that he went from that to like, he walks into that Minnesota situation and everything is different. Everything's changed. He's made Gobert and Cat likable to everybody else. He's embraced them. Like everyone hangs out off the court and stuff. The ownership turmoil does not even matter. All like for the first time in, I don't even know if they were saying it about Kevin Garnett 20 years ago. Probably they were, but for the first time, everyone's eyes in the NBA is on a Minnesota player, and they're like, "This guy's the best in the world," or like he's gonna be the best in the world. So it's crazy. He is awesome. Even and you know what? He said some bad things. Like what did he say? The F's or whatever.
I
He's
think
he's
so. Yeah, he
young.
definitely called
He's a young
people.
guy. I don't think he's a hateful. I think he's a yeah. I think as time goes on, he'll get more mature, and that'll all be okay. And I'm happy with him as one of the faces of the league going forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, I hope he fucking changes because that was so weird. Like that was just in terms of like the dumbest, most unprompted shit you could possibly do. And I do think it's super unfair that like John Morant has gotten fucking nuked while all of that stuff was like a footnote for people. Because I think what John Morant did is overall probably less harmful. Like if you see that video come up of what he said to those people outside that club on
Yeah, to
Twitter,
be fair, I don't remember the full context of it.
he's like secretly recording in his car like a bunch of guys like visually obviously gay guys outside of a club, and he's like, look at these and then he calls them
Oh,
queer in like an extremely derogatory sense. And when you see that video come up, like it enables so many homophobic people on Twitter. Like they're like, this is the fucking best thing I've ever seen. He is my favorite player in the league. And so
that is true. And they're like, he's a man of God for this.
yeah, like this is what Jesus would be doing if he came back right now. By the way, Jesus, he'd probably be fucking killing people. Actually, like that's just what the Bible's all about, man. So yeah, that part not sick. It would be dope if he was like, gay people are cool in a public setting. Maybe
He's got
just
to
like,
go through the Tim Hardaway Senior route. Do you know about that?
yeah, that's crazy, dude. Maybe this is like the 2024 version of that. Do you want to explain it for our listeners?
Tim Hardaway Senior was like, I don't even remember exactly the quote, but he was like openly, he's like, I hate gay people. I can't stand them.
I
They
don't
are,
want him in the locker room.
yeah, he's like, they are the worst. And then why did he change his mind? Did he meet somebody?
That sounds about right, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
But yeah, he did full rehabilitation. He like changed his mind. He's like, you know what? I was being hateful. I was wrong. I apologize. I love gay people now.
Yeah. So I hope that happens to Anthony Edwards. Other than that, fuck, what was I gonna say? Wolves versus Suns concerns heading into round two. That's my list. I have some concerns for them, and I wrote down some concerns for Denver as well that we can touch on next. So
Oh
the
wait,
offense.
should we wait? Wolves versus Den. Should we talk about Suns before then?
Oh yeah, let's do it. What do you want to talk about with the Suns?
Um. Oh wait, let me. Well, one. What's it called? One more thing about the Timberwolves. Jaden McDaniels held Devin Booker and Bradley Beal to 23% shooting. Clamps. They
That
said.
sounds right. He is a fucking monster. Like he's even if he like I was looking, people called his contract really bad about halfway through this year because his 3-point shot was not the same as it was last year. Even if he is just like a 38% like low volume shooter, his defense is so good that I don't think it'll really be like a crippling overpay. It gets up to like 28 million in like 4 years. But if the salary cap spikes the way people expect it to, that's not really going to be like you'll pay 28 million for like a really good role player. So he rocks. He's super good.
Yeah, their defense looks awesome. The Phoenix defense completely non-existent. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they finished the series. Let's see if I wrote down. Yeah, for the series, Booker 27, 7, and 3 on 66% true shooting. Durant 27, 6, and 3 on 65% true shooting. So overall, they did their part, but there's nothing else going on that team.
Yeah, I think Booker, as far as like agenda victims of this season go, Booker's probably up there
suffering.
because
I love that everybody like Stephen A is like this Jordan, Kobe, Edwards. That's like a popular thing everyone's throwing out now. They're like he's the first one since, and it's like last year you guys were saying Devin Booker was him. So
yeah, and like
he's lost it.
And Booker when he was playing, like you want him to be the guy who plays 70 games first and foremost. Like if you get 75 out of Kevin Durant, it's disappointing that your prime star is not healthy alongside that. But like when he played this season, he was one of like 4 guys that's like top 5, top 7 in points and assists per game. Like he was really fucking good this season on super good efficiency, and he was pretty damn good in this series. I know if it's a sweep and you score 49 right at the end and you average out to 27, the volume the first 3 games is probably not insane. But I don't know. It's just like people aren't even thinking about him in the same conversation that he was in last year when he was fucking beating up the Clippers and everybody and really beating up the eventual champions. Like the way him and Kevin Durant played in the Nuggets series last year, if you flush that team out with like good or capable depth instead of adding the worst contract in the league who plays really bad, maybe we're in a different spot. That's
what a blunt way to say it.
I mean, I don't
Adding
know
the worst contract in the league who plays really bad.
like when he, and not only that, for him to get that much money, for him to foul out, and then Frank Vogel's like, "Give me 5, man. I know you tried your best." When he's running to the bench, and Beal's just like, "Get your fucking hand away from me, pal."
And then the report after the game is like, Frank Vogel yelled at us for being down big in the game. That's so lame.
Dude, I saw that. Yeah. It was for like the people listening, it was when the Suns went down 35-4 in the first quarter of the Clippers game. And at halftime of that game, Vogel was like, "You guys fucking suck. This is stupid." Like he was letting them have it. And it came out that like players were like, "This is really forced right now. You're acting super cringe. Like, why are you even worried about this?" Oh my
We're
God.
laughing about this.
Yeah, like it's just that's like I feel bad if Vogel gets fired. What the fuck, dude? Like, I guess we can go right into that. Do you think they should fire Vogel?
Like, should they? So, I think he probably won't get through to this group, but I don't know if that's really an indictment on his coaching. I feel like I don't know what it is, but like Kevin Durant came into New York and he's like, "Get this coach out of here. I don't want him." I don't know. Like, I don't know. He's very interested when it comes to. Would you consider Kevin Durant a coach killer or no?
Okay, let's run through. How many coaches did they have in Oklahoma City? Do you remember at all?
So Scott Brooks was there for a long time. But I don't know. I don't know what their relationship was like. But when Billy Donovan got there, they were Kevin. I think publicly, like Kevin Durant wasn't super into it.
I mean, I think I would consider uh the way teams have come together around Kevin Durant post Golden State. I don't think that environment is particularly conducive to like a head coach sticking around a long time and like building these really
Yeah,
like a good like the way Dagnall is with OKC right now. Like I don't think that type of relationship is going to blossom from fucking like Jacques Vaughn taking over the head coaching position in Brooklyn or something.
they
So
were like Kenny Atkinson's making us run. Get him out of here.
get him out of here. Oh my god, we know how to run, Kenny. We won't get tired, I promise.
And yet they got him fired and they got Steve Nash fired because but that was like I know Kyrie for sure wasn't listening to Steve Nash, like he was openly ignoring
Mhm.
play calls and stuff like that, and it seems like Kevin Durant publicly voices frustration, but he all in these articles it also says like he's like my job's not coaching. So I don't know if it's him being if that's like a passive aggressive thing or if that's a genuine thing where he's like I'm not the coach. I'll do what I'm told, but I don't know if this is the best way.
It would be funny if like he was publicly, I'm not the coach, but then the coach like draws up a play and he's like, well, that's fucking stupid. I'm not doing that. I'm not the coach, but that's not the coach either. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like what does a better coach even look like with this roster this year and like the health that they have? Do they get like a game
I don't think
off of
there's
Minnesota?
I don't think there's anything like short of Spolstra turning Bol into like a supernova zone defender or something like that. I
Hmm.
don't think there's anything. I think it's probably as simple as we don't like Frank Vogel. We think he's lame. We don't like
Yeah.
him personally.
Well, you're definitely gonna like fucking Mike Budenholzer or whoever they bring in. Man, you'll definitely. I mean,
He
I've had
liked Jacques Vaughn, but Jacques Vaughn like turned out not to be the best coach in the world. So it's hard to get both. It's hard to get. I like this guy and he's really good.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got for the Suns. Do you want to do Wolves
Um.
or do you have a final Phoenix thing?
Well, what? So they have nothing going forward. Do you think they
Yeah.
run it back, or do you think they do fire sale? Because if you tank, you don't have your own picks. But do you? Is it sunk cost? Or you run and do you think like? Well, I guess it would probably not be their choice, right? Like if Kevin Durant chooses to pull the plug, do you
Hmm.
then trade Booker or do you not?
Um. Yeah. I think you do because if KD's pulling the plug, it's probably I have a list of teams. It's probably not just like send me anywhere. And so you're
It's probably me and LeBron and Steph at the Olympics.
yeah, some shit like that. Or him in OKC could be fun. Uh
Oh, what's it called? I guess he's a Pelicans possibility. Ingram
KD.
for Durant, but yeah,
Okay, all right.
I don't know how much that does for you if you're
I don't
Phoenix.
know. He's probably kind of like stepping on Trey Murphy's toes. I don't know if they want to do that. That's kind of like limiting his growth, but whatever. Yeah, so if KD asks out, you probably trade Booker. You should fucking eat Beal for the next 3 years. Oh my god, dude, that is such a terrible contract. Like, it's it's insane that Washington got off that. It's insane that they gave it to him, but like executive of the year just for like getting the contract out of the fucking roster.
And look up that trade. They got a lot of picks for that. They got like stuff. They had to pay for Bradley Beal plus stuff. I didn't remember it that way, but I was looking at it, and it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Here, let me pull up the package real quick. It's the Suns get Bradley Beal and two filler guys, Jordan Goodwin, Isaiah Todd. The Wizards get Chris Paul, who they turned into Jordan Poole. Landry Shamet. They got Koulibaly. They have a pick swap this year for the first round and the second round. They have a second round pick next year. They have a first round pick swap in 2026. They have a first round pick swap in 2028. They have a first round pick swap in 2030, and then they have like second round picks every year. They don't have a first round pick swap. So that, dude, that's crazy. Like I remember
That's a master class for
when
them.
the news dropped, people were like, they're only getting pick swaps and stuff. And it's like, if you look at how volatile this roster is, like, what does this team look like by 2026? Much less 27, 28, 2030, whatever. So yeah, that's some good shit, I guess. If you're Washington, if you're Phoenix, if you're Ishbia, dude, I mean, that's a bad investment. I'm sure they're still making money, but damn.
It's crazy. And they just he's got to try and keep this team together. I think because of the TV part, because they just started showing their games for free in Arizona, so I think it's probably like we need as much people as possible watching, and Kevin Durant on the team is a good way to do that. And then if there's no Booker, no Durant, then who's going to be watching the Bradley Beal show? So that's not great. But yeah, they really need to get creative. I think they got to look internationally. They got to look at the G League. They gotta get there. I wrote down some guys who are making basically nothing.
Okay.
Not for them to trade for, because what are they going to get? They don't even
nothing.
have second round picks to trade. Namias Queta, Celtics got him for nothing. I like him. Keon Ellis, he's making like $1 million or something. That they got him in like the second round of the draft, but again, Phoenix doesn't have that. But like, actually, you know what? He might have been undrafted free agent. I forget. Jose Alvarado, Miles McBride, Sam Merrill was out there. Sam Merrill was like the first pick of the G League draft. He was out there for free. So they can get creative and like try and find people, but I don't know how deep the James Jones scouting department goes.
It's worth noting, pick swaps. It's not like Washington's going to have the 28th pick every year. You will have, like, you'll be giving up a higher pick at some point, but like Washington, it'll probably be swapping like 14th for 6th or something on several of these. So you do have, like, if you're looking to snag Christian Brown, like immediate impact type guy, then those guys theoretically could still be on the board by the time you have some of those picks. But I mean, that's like seven. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't feel like they have time to deal with any of that shit. Like, this stuff is going to blow up before any of the draft pick stuff really becomes a big consequence. That's just the vibe that I'm getting.
Yeah. Is there any chance, because Bradley Beal missed preseason and like training camp maybe, is there any chance next year they get some better depth pieces and then we have a like the Wolves like turnaround, like where we go from Gobert's the worst trade ever to like this is pretty good? Is there any chance?
I mean, even if Beal becomes like 24-5, so like 24 points per game and 5 assists per game on really solid efficiency, because he was pretty damn efficient this year. Like, he was 62% true shooting in the regular season. Even if he becomes like moderate volume scorer, good playmaker again, his contract is still like, it's not like Gobert where you kind of like reevaluate where you were at and how you overreacted to like Walker Kessler or whoever. But yeah, I just don't think there's going to be a turnaround like that.
Rest in peace, Phoenix.
I know. Yeah, do you want to talk about Minnesota?
We did, didn't we? What did we?
I was just gonna say, sorry. My concerns. Let's fuck it. I don't have any concerns. They're gonna win the title. Who cares?
Minnesota versus Denver. The preview?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my concerns with them, the offensive ceiling and the dispersal of the offensive load. That was my first thing I wrote down, because Phoenix sucks at defense. We already talked about this. So outside of game 2, Anthony Edwards, and I think Minnesota's like the best offense in the postseason right now as a result of largely playing Phoenix. Like, they were not
playing
that good of a
defense.
Yeah. And maybe Denver's a fraud defense too. Who's to say?
Fraud offense.
So outside of game 2, Anthony Edwards was 36 points and 5 assists per game on 68% true shooting. I don't think, like, obviously Denver is not going to bottle him up completely, but I do think
through Peyton Watson, all things are possible.
who's to say? Who's to say? And so I think if they can slow him down, or even if he just has like another game 2 where he's like 3 of 12, 4 of 15 from the field or whatever, do you have confidence in like McDaniels beating the Nuggets? I guess Karl Anthony Towns maybe, but that leads into my next point, which is Towns. He averaged 4 fouls a game in this series, guarding, albeit Kevin Durant, who's like tough to guard, but they're probably going to run like the Hachimura AD roaming thing with Cat as the primary guy on Jokic while Gobert roams. If you're fouling,
Kevin Durant is not really attacking the rim too.
Yeah, if you're fucking fouling Kevin Durant and then you go into Jokic post ups, like, I know he's not the most foul drawing guy in the world, but that's a really big ask. So on top, like, can he limit those foul troubles? And if he can't, like, is that something the Wolves can really live with against Denver? Because that, like, bottles in. They're going to need his offense to go up against Denver. Denver is not the kind of offense that Phoenix was, where just having all of these great defenders kind of guarantees that nobody's going to go off, save for that final game where Booker really cooked. And I guess Kevin Durant in game 1 or 2 where he had 33 on crazy splits. But yeah, so those are just like, that's what I think about when I look at these.
Yeah, and so in round 1, Jokic bullied Anthony Davis, who's arguably the best defender in the world. And now he's going against Cat, who's going to have a lot of trouble. And then even with Gobert, I looked up how he does against Gobert. So since 2019-2020, he's averaged 30, 11, and 9 in 13 games against Rudy Gobert on 68% true shooting. And like, there's the funny story that Jamal Murray has told where like Rudy Gobert's like, I got him. And he's like, brother, I'm 47. So it's, yeah, I don't really anticipate any change with Jokic. I think he probably, like, people like to say like, oh, they have the 2 bigs and Dwight and JaVale back then and AD, they did a good job, but I think that's a problem that there's not a solution to. The wins will come everywhere else. And so I think the bigger matchup will be like, can they really make it hard for Jamal Murray? And the Nuggets did not shoot well from 3 in the series at all.
We'll get to them. Oh my God.
And like in the final game, Jokic shot 0 free throws, but he still put up 20. I lost.
He had 25, 20, and 9.
Yeah. And it was a 27-9 free throw disparity overall, which the Lakers always get, but we've covered it before. It's not a shady advantage. But like they were they were trailing for this entire series against the Lakers. They were 165 minutes trailing versus 59 minutes leading. And so do we look at that and we're like, man, they're so dominant that they won this series without leading in the games, without making 3-pointers, and without really getting the free throw numbers were closer for the entire series, but it's like they're not a free throw reliant team like that. And so like, are they that dominant that they don't even need that to win it? They just generate that many good looks at the rim? Or is that going to be more of a liability against a team like Minnesota?
I don't know. I'm curious. A lot of this also depends on, like, are the Nuggets bullshitting? Like, were they playing down to the Lakers? And not like on purpose. I mean, like, I don't mean like psychological
Jokic
warfare.
did say he literally got bored. He's like, well, when you match up against the same team this many times, it's boring.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, I don't know. So like, if they can play up to the Wolves, if KCP can hit 3-pointers, I mean, I have like some stats written down when we get to Denver. Like, if that happens, then I think you reach a point where Denver, who is such a machine in the clutch, whereas Minnesota probably a little more volatile. Obviously, you believe in Anthony Edwards in the clutch, but like if he's not in that mode, then it becomes kind of like a drive and kick game. Is Mike Conley, is Jaden McDaniels going to beat you? That kind of thing. And so like if it gets into that scenario, then from the Nuggets perspective, it's almost like, oh, we don't have to make a 15-point comeback right now. We just have to like score and we'll probably win the game. Like it's not this like huge uphill battle every third quarter. So I don't know. I think I wouldn't like take these huge second half comebacks as like purely a signifier of Denver's dominance. I do think it's indicative of what their ceiling is when they're like playing their best on both ends of the floor, but it'll be a lot harder to play their best offensively against Minnesota, especially if they're shooting that poorly. I got we have 5 lobbyist requests for this one. Okay. Ash F says Thunder versus Wolves Western Conference Finals would be the most entertaining series this year.
Shout out Ash F. I think they are very active in the Discord every time I pop in there.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Ash F. Shout out to the Discord, baby. Patreon.com/State of the League. You could be on there. You could talk to Ash F, the world famous.
Every once in a while, I remember it's there. I pop in and they're having chat, they're having banter, they're talking ball. What a great
problem is it just makes my computer so hot when I throw it on. So like I try to pop in, but like there's no way I can watch the games and be in there being like, oh, Tyrese Maxey, oh my God. So I just kind of have to be like, what's up, guys?
I just pop in at 2 a.m. and I'm like, Alex Sar's really good.
Really good. Well, that's also me. Like 1 a.m. I go in and no one's up, and I'm just like, guys, we could be shooting the shit right now. What's going on? Yeah. So I think Thunder versus Wolves.
What's the matchup they said?
Thunder Wolves Western Conference Finals, most entertaining series of the year.
So cool. Thunder Wolves.
The battle at the top of the mountain, perhaps something like that, like a stormy night up there.
The battle on Mount Rushmore on a cold, stormy night. No, that doesn't have a nice ring to it. I don't know. Is that better than Minnesota Denver? I'm more interested in Minnesota Denver.
Yeah, I think there's just so like OKC could win. Wouldn't surprise me if like a time traveler was like OKC beat them. But
that's the least interesting question I have to ask you.
But like the size, it's like 2 titans crashing into each other with like another Gobert Jokic matchup plus Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid off the bench. To be honest, even if Cat gets into foul trouble, like there's still a lot of size to go against. And so I just think like that matchup, there's so much size in Minnesota that OKC would probably struggle with. I think it's less interesting. I am curious to see how this like unstoppable offense meets this impenetrable defense and what that matchup looks like. I think Nuggets Wolves is more exciting, but I'm invested in the Nuggets, so I'm biased openly. Ian McManus says Cat was so good in the Suns series, even with the foul trouble. Damn, he fucking predicted what we were going to talk about. Okay. He stuck on KD surprisingly well, too.
He kind of did.
I guess. KD he has no burst. There is nothing. He can jump into his jump shot. That's it. There's no like rim pressure anymore. So sticking with only averaging 4 fouls against that version of Kevin Durant, I'm hating. Cat did good, and he was super good offensively when he got run. And like he was able to be on the floor. He was very effective. So yeah, good job, Ian. I fucked with Cat, and I'll stop hating. This guy's name is, what is Naz Reid's name? Probably Naz Reid. Says Mike Conley, aka Captain Clutch, kind of a lame name, has been great to watch on the Wolves. A 36-year-old slotting into this veteran floor general role has made the team, quote unquote, and Rudy so good. Not quotes, parentheses. So did you get that?
Yeah, no breaks. Mike was good up until he took out Chris Finch. I mean, I think there's some character concerns. Why is he tearing his patellar tendon like in a big playoff moment? So I think I like the player, but I'm not quite sure about the man.
Yeah, people get mad at Latrell Sprewell for choking his coach in practice. Mike Conley just he put his coach into the hospital mid-game, and no
In
one
front of
cares.
everybody. Jeez.
Wow. That's messed up. All right. No, I like Mike Conley, and I do think like if he was not here, Rudy Gobert, the offense it gets nasty quick. But he's it's nice. It's nice that they combine into like a pretty good offensive player. This name's tricky. RJCC the eighth, I believe. It's RJCCVIII. Says free book. Get Devin Booker to the Pistons.
Oh,
Why are you trying? It's not freeing him. That's putting him in a worse prison. What are you
get
doing?
me out of Alcatraz to Rikers Island.
Yeah. What are we doing? That's mean. That's mean to Devin Booker.
Is he from Michigan somehow? No, right? Isn't he from like Mississippi?
I don't know. He's got all I know is he likes cool classic cars.
How does
He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I guess the Pistons would be on the menu there a little bit.
Hometown
But
kid.
Yeah. Maybe him. You know who else is from Michigan? Kyle Kuzma.
Draymond
Maybe
Green.
Booker to Washington hype a little bit. Free Booker, get him to the Wizards. All right,
because he probably has heard the rumblings that Koulibaly's getting Wemby there, so he wants to team
super
up.
team in Washington, the Avengers, baby. They'd come up with a more patriotic nickname than that. But
where do the Pistons with Devin Booker finish in the East this year?
Above the Hornets and above. Who was like the third worst team in the East? It was Detroit was awful. Charlotte was pretty bad. And Washington. They probably finished above the Wizards too.
Are they better than the Nets?
Yeah, they are, I think.
Are they in Bulls or Hawks territory?
I don't know. It depends. Is Jalen Duren real? Is he going to try defensively, or is this Andre Drummond that we're looking at? How does Jaden Ivey play next to Devin Booker? I think Booker and Cade's a cool fit. But
Did Devin Booker like Monty Williams?
That's a good question. I didn't think it was never like Booker came out and was like, this guy's fucking stupid, doesn't know what he's doing.
So maybe the reunion is possible, and maybe it's inevitable.
I'm on board.
If you're the Suns, they're like, hey, we'll give you a bunch of our picks, and we want Devin Booker. You got to be like, okay, yeah, you guys are ass.
Have him, yeah. Go ahead. Sweet. Jake McLennan. Chet is going to be put in a blender between Cat and Gobert. SGA is not going to be enough.
Whoa, why is everyone jumping to that series?
I don't know. I mean,
is Nuggets the confidence falling?
Am I seeing? Are people just fuck it? Underdog angle. Angle for the Nuggets. Whole series long, baby. You guys gave me too much ammo. No one believes in us. Everyone's jumping right to the Wolves Thunder series. Yeah. No one thought we could do it. It's everyone wrote us off. So, I mean, he would get put in a blender. Cat and Gobert is going to be hard if they play. But maybe we'll see real Gobert can't guard on the perimeter this time. It's been fake all these years. He just hasn't had perimeter defenders, but this time Chet draws him out onto the 3-point line and blows by him.
Is Chet better getting to the rim than Booker and KD?
Almost certainly not. But someone's got to hate Gobert, and I guess that's someone's me. SGA is not going to be enough to overcome Himony Edwards.
Jalen Williams, though.
Jalen Williams versus Jaden McDaniels. That would be a sick matchup. Although Ant would probably guard Jaden. I'm curious because Ant seems like a guy who would want to be like, I want to guard the best player, but he also loves Jaden McDaniels and has openly talked about how good he is defensively. So probably not. I think Jaden McDaniels would probably end up guarding Shea, just like best player, best defender type thing. But who cares?
Hey, I've got a take for you. I've got a take for America. I'm going to let it fly.
All right.
Jalen Williams could still be better than Anthony Edwards.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just like, are we any supplementary evidence there?
He's better.
He's better. He's better. He takes cool TikToks. You haven't seen him?
Jalen Williams, already a good passer, already a better mid-range shooter than Anthony Edwards. Hear the velocity in my voice when I say that. He's better.
Yeah. Damn. You're
Gets
fucking locking it in.
Also, better three-point shooter, probably. Fantastic defender as well. People don't realize yet how good he's going to become. So, OKC fans, back me up. Minnesota fans, get out of my face. I don't even care about what I just said, so don't talk to me about it.
OKC fans, go to war in the fucking comments, baby.
Kill them!
All right. And meanwhile, we're going to get him out of our face. What is this? 144. All right. Let's go. Do you want to go Nuggets and then we can talk Clippers, like the last active series at the end?
Yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's talk. Well, Lakers, rest in peace. You
Lakers,
trash.
yeah, rest in peace. The battle at Lake Tahoe. The Nuggets have risen. They're floating, I guess now. They're having a lovely summer afternoon on a boat or something. They win in 5 games.
It's a red lake now.
Whoa,
because
cool.
of the blood from them.
Yeah, they killed Anthony Davis. He's dead.
Whoa.
Jamal Murray.
We don't know if he's dead because he's injured a lot. So there's always injury scares, and so we don't know if it's a real death or not. Well, that's my joke in there.
Did you see Darvin Ham's quote where he was like, "People question my rotations. What do my rotations matter if one of my starters shit in the bed every game for 10 games straight?" And it was like
he went full Doc Rivers.
Like that felt worse than Doc Rivers almost. It was like, dude, that's mean. Even though D'Angelo Russell did not have a good series.
Bad D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, Jamal Murray.
After saying I was molded by public humiliation. After his Joker moment, he said I was molded by public humiliation that turned me into a killer. I'm like, who are you killing? Not the Nuggets.
Not the Nuggets. Jamal Murray 2 game winners in the series. They'll face the Timberwolves in round 2. That was sick. Lots of crazy stats about the Lakers. Only outscored by 11 points across the entire series, and they lost in 5 games. They led for like 3 times as long as the Nuggets did. The time of leading was like an hour and a half to like 40 minutes for Denver, but Denver led for the more important minutes, I guess. The vibes are weird. As a Nuggets fan, I love beating the Lakers. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to like
that Lakers beatdown is brought to you by my card turning on.
Yeah, he's running over what's left of Anthony Davis right now,
and I don't even notice it.
Yeah, Anthony. Well, that's the thing. It's like Anthony Davis and LeBron. Good series out of both. Like one of the better series of Anthony Davis's career, I would assume. I haven't like gone back through and combed through all of them, but there were several moments where, I mean, Jokic especially, but nobody could really guard what he was doing. Like, he was just burying a lot of mid-range jumpers, and if you closed out too hard, he was getting past you. It seemed very New Orleans AD-esque with all of his, like, on-ball creation in this series. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was just the Lakers role players sucked, and the Nuggets could just routinely generate way more efficient offense. Like, there was moments where if the Lakers threes weren't falling, they wouldn't stop shooting them, and there really wasn't an alternative. Like, LeBron could get to the rim whenever he wanted, but beyond that, it was just, it was pretty nasty shit for the Lakers. Well, how'd you feel about this series?
Austin Reeves playing down to the contract. He's like, you know what? Let me pay. They're paying me to be this level of player. I'm gonna play that way. I'm not gonna overperform. So, they feel cooked. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they run it back. It seems like LeBron is definitely gonna be a free agent. But I don't know what's going on.
Do they draft Bronny? Are they drafting Bronny just to keep him?
So they released that report where the Lakers are like, hey, we'll draft Bronny. We'll do it. We're cool with that. But LeBron is like, and then the report came out later. LeBron's like, actually, it's not my priority to play with Bronny. I don't really care about that. So
sorry, Bronny.
So what does that mean? Does that mean he's like, hold on, guys, I'm leaving. Do not take that kid because I'm not going to be here.
Can you imagine
If they take Bronny,
They
he's
draft
gone.
Bronny, he leaves anyways, and it's just like the full force of Lakers fans hate coming
Oh
down on
my
coming down on
god.
this like 19-year-old who had no business getting drafted and it's just like not good enough.
They are
Oh,
gonna
that would be
post
bad.
every DNP that he gets in the G League or whatever. Oh my god, it'd be a disaster. How and so Anthony Davis came out and he's like, I'm gonna be recruiting LeBron all summer long at the Olympics. So well he didn't say it like that. He's like, I'm just gonna be recruiting him. But that was like a slap in the face to me because I'm like, oh, I forgot. Or like this could turn into an Anthony Davis team where he's the number one guy. How do you
Mhm.
feel about Anthony Davis led Lakers team? I do not feel good about that. I don't think that's a good
Not in
team.
the West. No, I think it could be like a 5 seed in the
Get him
East
to
or
the
something.
Pistons with Devin Booker.
Yeah, shit. Booker AD pick and roll. He's an underrated pick and roll operator. Booker. Yeah, AD is the centerpiece in this Western Conference. Even this year, even like 76 games of Anthony Davis. That is, yeah, I don't think that team's really doing all that much.
What do they do, man? Who LeBron to Cleveland for Donovan Mitchell?
I
No.
guess.
No, he's a free agent. He could go
I
anywhere.
don't know. Do you just like and with it's crazy because like you're totally fine with Kobe kind of doing all this, like having the retirement ceremony and just like Kobe writing out his final 5 years or whatever, just not being that effective because you got the first 16 years of his career where you're constantly contending for championships and winning championships. I don't think like
And that
Lakers,
embodies Kobe's personality, like him just chucking 60 shots. Like you're like,
yes,
yeah, this is how this guy would want to go out.
but like LeBron, it doesn't. LeBron,
No,
way more like LeBron's not going to want
he's
to.
a Viking. He needs to die on the battlefield
Yeah,
to
he
reach
wants to.
Valhalla.
Yeah. So I don't know what they do, man. I think they probably try to get LeBron back, but I just don't know unless it's like a great value contract. And they like have more space to operate in terms of like fleshing out the rest of the roster, which doesn't seem like LeBron doesn't seem like a huge pay cut kind of guy. Um,
No, not at this stage, I don't think. Unless he really is like, I need that one last ring. You know what
yeah,
I would like to see them do? I'd like to see them, they would need like two guys. I think they're two guys away. Like a really polished mid range scorer guy with
Gabe Vincent.
experience. And then another guy who's from LA and who can make 3-pointers and attack off closeouts and who's like really athletic and can bring, maybe he enters the dunk contest when he's there. I don't know.
Jared Vanderbilt.
I'm thinking, oh, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan.
Oh,
if they could
okay.
pull off some kind of trade for them, that might be pretty sick.
What do you want from the Lakers? I mean, what do they have that you want? They're 2030.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. I don't need anything in return.
Wow. Just need Kobe White, unfiltered first option Kobe White.
I need this team to be diabolically horrible. I need Somali pirates to kidnap Kobe White for a year and treat him incredibly well. Put a basketball court on the boat so he can practice still.
That'd be sick.
Return in a year, and he'll have a nice little white boy sidekick, Cooper Flag.
Dude, the way they constantly tell the stories about like Kyrie practiced layups on a backboard that had holes in it. And that's why he's so good at or Jamal Murray used to shoot free throws out in blizzards in Canada. Now they're like, Kobe White used to practice deep 3-pointers on a boat. Like it would be like choppy waters and he would be out in a storm in the ocean.
Epic.
And he would be burying threes with Somali pirates. And so that's why he's so good in the clutch now. Yeah, I just I don't know what the Lakers do. I think Levine's the answer. I think you got to go get him.
He's an LA guy. He went to UCLA.
And bring back Darvin Ham.
Oh.
That's someone you need to keep. He knows what he's doing. All right. My concerns. So looking at this Nuggets concerns against the Timberwolves. Right off the bat, we already touched on it. Shooting. Denver, excluding Michael Porter Jr., who had a great 3-point shooting series, one of the best in recent memories. the whole Nuggets team was 25% from three in this series. Specifically, KCP and Jamal Murray, who you are relying on to space the floor, according to NBA.com, shot just 13% on open threes. So, like, closest defender, like 2 to 4 feet or whatever, I think. They were 3 of 22 on those shots. So it was a really rough shooting performance for both of those guys and for the whole team. And this is against a team, the Lakers could not guard the three. Like, teams were shooting 38, 39% on average against the Lakers heading into this series. And Minnesota is one of like the 5 best 3-point defenses in the league. So maybe just like smothered contests, maybe that fixes shit. But I don't know. Like, it's scary. And then also Jamal Murray performances outside of the fourth quarter. I was a little bit nervous about that as well, because we've gone from, it was big game Merchant Jamal, now it's just big moment Merchant Jamal. The lights, like, he builds up a tolerance to how bright the lights are, and you need to turn them up even brighter to the point where only the final seconds of the game he's super effective. In the fourth quarter of Lakers Nuggets, he averaged like 9 points per game on 47% shooting. In the first 3 quarters of that series, he averaged 15 points per game on 35% shooting. He was not super effective against Austin Reeves. He will be going against a much better defender against Minnesota, whether it's like Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels. Your relaxed defender is going to be someone like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and he's even still really good. So I'm nervous about that as well.
Maybe he'll bully Conley.
If they let Mike Conley guard Jamal Murray, I will. Is Tim Conley? Is he the executive there?
In Minnesota, yeah.
Okay, nepotism hire. Mike Conley's son, Tim Conley. They look exactly the same. Google it, everybody.
The man who built the Nuggets.
I know, that's what people are saying. This is like a Tim Conley draft pick masterclass. Because I think he drafted Gobert too.
In Utah?
No, well, he drafted Gobert in Denver, and they traded Donovan Mitchell and Gobert on draft night to Utah in separate years.
Oh yeah. So the all-time miss for your franchise. What a disaster.
I'm not that worried about it.
Oh, you know what I saw J.R. Smith said? If we had Mike Malone when I was in Denver, we would have won the championship for sure.
George Karl, mad as shit. I'm sure he has read and responded to that quote already.
Who did he just take a shot at? It was so funny. I forget who.
Probably like
he's
Kenneth,
crazy.
maybe DeMarcus Cousins or some shit. I don't know.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm not nervous. I think the Nuggets are going to win.
I mean, I hope so. I hope you're right. I think they probably have the better floor. Like, if we do what we should have done with Suns Wolves and been like, okay, fuck the regular season. Let's look at like the established pattern of postseason behavior.
Who are the hoopers? Like, Ball Don't Stop. Let's think Ball Don't Stop. Who would he pick?
Ball Don't Stop would execute Rudy Gobert if he could. I fully believe that. Karl Anthony Towns, not a hooper, just a 3-point shooter. Like, he doesn't have no bag.
Not
Jokic,
an artist.
Jokic, hooper, masterful hooper, master of his craft. Jamal Murray, hooper. Anthony Edwards, too athletic. Doesn't rely on the bag enough.
No, I think he's literally next Kobe. I think he's Buddha. I think he's God. Jesus Christ.
All right, that's fine. He's a hooper. Michael Porter Jr.
He's the hooper. Michael Porter Jr. lets it fly.
Lets it fly. Empties the clip. You know, just you need that guy. You need that guy who's not afraid of the big moments. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's Denver all the way, baby. Gobert just brings your team's average hooper rating down 30, 40 points. It's so rough. He's good, but he's not a hooper.
Yeah, this is going to be like a domain expansion series. I'm excited to see how they interact.
Yeah. Gabriel, so lobbyist request. Gabriel Esparza, 2024 is the battle of LA versus Canada. Jamal Murray ended the Lakers run in the playoffs, and now we have Kendrick versus Drake. I didn't think about that angle. That's fun. LA Kendrick's up, but
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, dude, that Kendrick song was crazy. And I mean, this is two white guys who like Kendrick, so
Let's give our take. Who's done more for the culture?
who's done more for the culture? Oh my god. What do you think about Drake's right to say the N-word, Pablo? I think that's the territory that we should delve into on this
Is Drake
podcast.
black enough?
Is he just embracing it as a costume when he writes these songs? Oh my god. That's
Who are
none
you
of our
taking, West Coast or Canada? I love
Oh
that
my
he's like
god.
Crody. That's
Crody,
they have
that was fun. Little Toronto slang. That was sick. He cooked.
Toronto
And
slang is horrific. I gotta tell you that.
that video, there's like that white girl who's
Yeah.
like, "You left your mom in the hood, fam?" Like shit like that. That's a great video. Yeah, I don't know. I think so. It's tied 1-1 then. If Jamal Murray smoked the Lakers, but Kendrick smoked Drake, well, where's like the third battleground for LA versus Canada? I don't know where else these two countries. Well, I guess LA's a city. Where could they meet?
Well, Shea's Canada. And the
Okay.
Clippers.
Oh, okay. So the Clippers need to win, and then it could be Canada LA round 3. Fuck. That's fun. That's fun. I'll be keeping an eye on that. That's a good
Zach
one.
Edey is Canada. Who is
Is
from
he
LA
really?
in the draft? Yeah. I don't know who else is from. I don't know who would be from LA.
I don't know. You're the draft guy. I don't know where anybody's from. I didn't even know Zach Edey was Canadian.
Well, Bronny went to USC.
Whoa. Bronny probably, I don't know. Do you think Bronny tells people he's from Ohio?
People probably don't ask.
Yeah, probably.
Who will be a better NBA player, Bronny or Edey?
Probably Edey. People are saying Edey is just Zubats, and that's a good NBA player. That's an above average player.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. They kind of just have the same shaved head moment going on. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have anything else written down?
I got 2 more requests if you want.
Oh, let's go.
So they're both Jamal Murray. So BLT Sammy said Jamal Murray is an alien whose metabolism runs on the tears of Lakers fans.
He's eating.
He's eating. There was Spawnhauer put out a good video after Game 5 where he was like, I'm fine that we lost, but it would be cool if it could just be like a 20-point blowout instead of this shit every single time. And that made me laugh. And Eli Bowler said Jamal Murray is on pace for an all-time second option playoff run. Yes, in the sense that if he cooks for the rest of the run, no one will remember that he was bad in round 1. They will only remember the game winners.
If he makes 2 game winners every series, but he finishes like 49% true shooting, is that a good series? Is that
I'll take it.
Is that a good playoff run?
If he's feeding you 2 wins every series, I think that's on Jokic to get the job done in the other 5 games.
Get us close. I'll take it. I'll take us home.
Yeah. All right. That's it. I mean, do you have anything else on the Nuggets? I said Jokic has to draw fouls on Cat. I want that. Like, I think that'll be important because I do think, I don't know, man. You're like non-factor. I think with Gobert roaming, because like it's fine. He can beat up Hachimura, no problem. Karl Anthony Towns is a bigger, and you think Cat's a better defender than Hachimura right now? What do you think?
In the post, I think he's probably stronger, right? It's probably easier for him to hold up.
Yeah. Giving like, so that specific set, like Jokic catches it trying to get to the block. I think Karl Anthony Towns, I would call him a better defender in that scenario. And so Jokic has to draw fouls there. And then defending Ant, it is scary because like he's too big. KCP is probably the guy you throw at him right away. He's too big for Jamal Murray. He's too quick for Aaron Gordon. I assume they'll try Aaron Gordon on him a little bit, and I think it'll be fine. But you want Aaron Gordon to be able to like guard Cat and maybe help out on the rebounding situation as well. So And especially given how much success the Lakers had getting downhill, especially in like games 3 and 4, that's what Anthony Edwards loves to do a lot of times. So yeah. But with that said, Denver's a way better team than Phoenix, and I would also consider the Lakers a better team than Phoenix. So I feel like the round 1 matchups may be skewing my thoughts right now.
Yeah, I'll say Nuggets in 7 or 6. I'll say 7.
Okay, Nuggets in 7. That'll be a fun series. I am super excited for that. All right, and that brings us, get them the fuck out of my face, to the Clippers and the Mavs, baby.
I
The
timestamp that too. That's what I would do.
I already got it, bro. The only active series left in the Western Conference right now. All the other 3 finished up. We're tied at 2-2. Game 5 is getting played in LA tonight. This has been a
Booyah.
super entertaining series, but it's also been kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Just so it's tied at. If I told you Kawhi was gonna miss 2 games, do you think it'd be tied at 2-2? If I asked you before the series,
No, I'd say they're dead.
yeah, but they haven't been dead.
They're better without him.
Pretty. I mean, he's washed. He's cooked. Hashtag get that
He's
man in
done
retirement
so.
home.
Should they trade him for Brandon Ingram?
Oh, I know Brandon Ingram can play, and he played. I don't know if they play Lou Dort, he's still fucked, but at least he'd be on the floor. Yeah, the Clippers. So I really only remember a bunch of shit about Game 5. That's what I'm sorry, Mavs fans who probably want me to talk about the games that they won a little bit, but you almost won this game. I was super excited. The Clippers were up 31 in the first half, and the Mavs fought all the way back for it to be like, I think the game came down to like a PJ Washington corner 3 that everyone was really mad that he shot. So the fact
it's funny, the Lakers season also came down to Torian Prince half court shot. He's like, "Go Torian!"
Oh, go Torian! He's like, me? Come on, man! Don't do this. So yeah. Westbrook's ejection. I think it was Game 3. Did you see that where like he yanked Luka, and then like
What was he doing? He was doing a bunch of stuff, wasn't he?
I don't know. Like I think he's at this point he's like just in spark plug mode where he's like I'm the emotion because his average
Playoff Westbrook is here. He has declined again, even though he's not even the baseline is not even high. But
because we get the bare minimum out of you, and he's like, here's 6 points. Here is what is it? 36% true shooting, not field goal percentage, true shooting percentage. So
come playoff time, he's always just decided I'm going to be a psychopath. But usually it manifests in I'm going to take 35 jump shots, even though I don't make jump shots. I'm going to take 35 of them, and I'm just going to be a crazy person. But now that he's on the bench, he can't take these 35 shots anymore. So he has all this amped up energy in reserve. He's like, I gotta hit someone. I gotta grab someone.
Yeah, it's not been good. Norm Powell's been pretty damn good. He's shooting like 58% from 3 on I think 5 attempts a game, around there. So that's, I mean, for as much as Westbrook has kind of regressed, Norm Powell, the volume of scoring is down a little bit, but the efficiency is still crazy. Harden. Do you want to cook on Harden? Feels like he's kind of been the story of this series as far as
back.
Like, I mean, yeah, holy shit. He's like, I could cook in isolation if you want me to. I can beat Luka off the dribble, no problem.
I'm the master. He's the student. I have the beard. He is the 7-Eleven body, and then my beard is better. Maybe you know what? Maybe they kind of have the same body type thing going on. Harden 26, 4 and 7 on 73% true shooting. He's hitting floaters again. He was 5 of 6 on floaters in Game 4.
Were those all in the fourth quarter in Game 4? It seemed like that's all he was shooting. It was just like blow past him, fourth quarter floater. And it was butter. Yeah, he's been fucking killing it. 1.47 points per isolation possession, and he's running like 7.5 isolation possessions per game. So I know that sounds confusing, everybody, but it just means whenever he like dribbles.
You're watching basketball through a calculator. You're a dweeb.
No, I'm smart. It's how smart people do it. Damn, Ball Don't Stop would be really mad at me right now. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so he's been killing it.
Points per
Also,
possession. You mean dog per heart?
dog per inning. Yeah, Harden 7 assists per game, just over 2 turnovers per game. And honestly, he had 5 turnovers in game 3, but in the other 3 games of this series, he has had 23 assists and 4 total turnovers. So he's been really good at both of the biggest aspects of offense. Paul George, pretty up and down, but he
Did you
didn't up.
hear Bill Simmons' analogy?
He's a cat in the garage. Do you want to tell it?
He said Paul George is like, it's like that cat who you see him and sometimes he's super lovable. He comes up and he's snuggling. You're like, this is a great cat. But sometimes he's just hanging out in the garage. You're like, where's the cat? He's in the garage.
Well, that was Paul George. Okay, first half, super cuddly. What was it? 26 points in the first half of game 4. Second half, went to the garage, 7 points on 2 of 5 shooting. I thought Derrick Jones Jr. did a really good job defending him in the second half. Maybe that's what we'll call it. Someone has an off night. He's in the garage,
He's
man.
in the garage.
He's in the garage. He's rolling around on the concrete in the garage. He's got a bunch of like weird grease stains all over him now. Yeah.
Little
Luka.
world building. They live in a mechanic shop.
Well, the car is just old. The car that they have is old. It leaks oil. They have to put down. I mean, that's what my garage was like growing up. Our car was it was like a piece of shit. And so they'd put down like a little kitty litter to soak up the oil that had dripped out. And my dad would just like put more in every so often.
Can't relate. My family had newer cars, but
whoa. Well, our car, when I turned about 10, it had a DVD player in the ceiling, pal.
Whoa!
So yeah, rethink your fucking life, man. That was like the height of luxury. I thought we were going to be like watching cartoons on the way to school or something, but never worked out that way. My dad was not. He liked to listen to sports radio in the morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Mike and Mike in the morning.
Who's on the radio in Nebraska? Oh, the Mike and Mike. I hate those guys.
Well, that's just what I remember. I remember Mike and Mike in the morning. So sorry, that's not up to your standards.
I hate Mike Greenberg. I'll tell you what. You know why I hate him? Because one time he was in disbelief. He found out that people bring their phones and like bring their iPads into the bathroom to use while they're going to the bathroom. And he was horrified. He was like disgusted. He's like, what do you mean? What? You can't, what? And I was like, this is the most out of touch thing I've ever seen. Who is this mummy? Who is this like a high class guy? Like, what does he do? He has magazines still? I don't know. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, what a boring life. I mean, there is something romantic about bringing a book to poop, but it's just the phone. Like you're living in a bygone era if you're doing that still. It's not the meta. I'll tell you that much. Like
Does
you
he
can
think
do
you're
whatever.
getting poop on the iPhone? I don't get it.
You're still getting poop on your hands. Like if you're just in, like you're getting poop on by the extension of you can't bring your phone into the bathroom. You are then like admitting that you think you get poop all over your entire body every time you go to the bathroom. Like every part of you that is exposed to the bathroom air at that point, like your hands, everything. You need to take a shower afterwards if you can't bring your phone.
But the shower's poop.
Oh shit. Yeah, you have to go to a different bedroom and use that shower or something. You have to go to a hotel. You have to go rent a hotel room. And even that's stranger's poop because someone's pooped in there before.
And then you have to have an affair while you're there.
Okay.
Luka struggling.
Poopa. He went.
Poopa Dumpchich.
Poopa Dumpchich. Yeah, Poopa Dumpchich. You guys can use that. Just make sure to credit us.
Watermark that one. Poopa Dumpchich has been struggling with an injury. He's having his first bad playoff series ever. But is it that bad? He's still putting up volume numbers. They're plus 101 with him in this series. That's more than anybody else. The next closest is like Embiid at like 50, I think, or something. But yeah, the Jason Kidd said he will live with James Harden floaters.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a very Jason Kidd thing to say. It's just like you could see this guy who not only cooked on this shot down like the entire stretch of the game, he made his living on this shot for like 8 years. Like it was this was the foundation of a generational offensive talent. And he's just like, yeah, it's fine. We'll live with Steph Curry threes. It's fine.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like years when he was with the Bucks, I think Jason Kidd was like, we will concede shots at the rim and from three, and we're going to stop mid-rangers. I think that's what his plan was. I could be wrong. Bucks
That
fans
rocks,
chime in.
dude.
But yeah, Luca said, I feel like I let Kyrie down because he was Poopa Dumpchich in that game. But it was mostly fueled by poor 3-point shooting. He was like 1 for 9 from three, but he was pretty good everywhere else.
Yeah, and a lot of those were like they were all hitting the front of the rim. It felt like so like you could tell the knee injury is kind of affecting his jump shot.
And I just got an alert where he said if it was the regular season, he would not be playing. So that's
not good.
great.
Jeez.
Who
Yeah.
who do you think who's going to come out on top? Both of these teams are fading.
I don't know. I think, dude, do you believe in like hobbled Luka and good Kyrie, or like is this the series where Harden there's no regression? He's just 26 points on great efficiency the entire time. Because if that's the case, I think the Clippers will win. But if Harden just has like an 8 points on 2 of 12 or something, the Mavs could definitely steal a game in LA. I will be watching this game very closely. What do you think? Who do you think?
I genuinely have no clue. I feel like Harden might just kill them with floaters.
Mm-hmm.
Solely because Jason Kidd said this. I think it just because he put that out in the universe, Harden is going to drop like 40 on 20 floaters. Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on Luka's health. If Luka cannot be max level Luka, it's going to be tough for them to overcome this unless you get disaster class James Harden and disaster class Paul George, which Paul George we've seen. Disaster class James Harden has not shown up yet.
Not yet.
And I don't know if we can count on him. It might just be a good series. So right now, at this very moment, I might be a little Clippers pilled. Ty Lue.
I'll zag. I'll go the other way. I'll go Kyrie looking like 2016 Kyrie Irving again. He wins them the series, baby. That was crazy.
Was insane.
The one over what was it? Harden,
over
Paul
3
George.
people.
Yeah. I mean, it was, if you guys didn't watch the game, go watch this one layup. I'm sure if you just search like Kyrie Clippers layup, it'll come up. He was driving to the rim, and Paul George and Harden, and I want to say Zubats or somebody just were like completely swarming him. Maybe it was Terrence Mann. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because I don't think it was a 7-footer. And like he bounced off of all of them and completely absorbed the contact and still laid it up over like 3 outstretched arms. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. He had, 40 points in game 4. He's averaging 29 with 5 assists on 66% true shooting in this series. That's like 51, 49, 90 shooting splits. Nearly 50-50-90 club. That's insane. He went shot for shot with James Harden for most of the fourth quarter. He did cede some moments to Luka. And, I mean, you live with what Luka produces for you. He's one of the best players in the league, all that. I wouldn't have minded if they just, like, rode hot hand Kyrie the entire time. It seemed like he was cooking, and it seemed like when Luka tried to operate in more of a facilitator role, it just ended up with guys you don't want taking big shots, like the PJ Washington 3, or I think there was like a couple Derrick Jones Jr. jumpers mixed in there. Just not ideal. But I think Lively played really well in that game. I don't have the box score pulled up, but I remember there was like they were spamming lobs with Lively for a little bit.
What a guy, the forgotten rookie. I think regardless, I think this will go 7. And so it'll come down to, do you think we'll see Kawhi at all for the rest of the series? I think he's probably done.
No, I think this is like a classic where we spend the whole season being like healthy Kawhi, Healthy Kawhi, knee inflammation, out for game 3, knee surgery or something. Like if you told me game 6 report he had knee surgery, I'd be like, whoa, that's so crazy. Oh my
I
God.
feel like he probably can play right now, but just to the same level that he's been playing. So he's like, there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and are they better without prime Kawhi or Kawhi, how he looked at his best this season? Obviously not. I do firmly believe they're better without the version of Kawhi that was on the floor.
Yeah.
Even though he's still like good defensively, but just, yeah. If he
It gives
can't shoot.
it gives more clarity to the offense. Because Paul George is like, you know what? I know what to do now. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a balancing act where it's like, hey, is it your turn? Is it your moment to go create a mid-range shot, or are we gonna try and do something else?
Oh, dude, Paul George had that crazy 3 too. I shout out to him because I called his second half pretty mid, and it was, but one of his 2 field goals was like this fading right in the corner over Derek Jones Jr., who was completely smothering him, and he buried it. And the Clippers don't win the game without that shot. It like put them up 2 very late in the fourth quarter. So yeah, shout out to Paul George. I said whoever wins this series in 6 or 7 games and then has to instantly pivot into playing the Thunder off of a week's rest, they deserve like the Congressional Medal of Honor. They're very brave, and it's just going to be hard. Whoever like wins the series, they're going to be beat up anyways. Harden doesn't have the best health history in the playoffs in recent years. Neither does Paul George, to be honest, although he was really good last season. Yeah, I just think the Thunder are a buzzsaw waiting at the end of this series.
Dallas should kill Ty Lue. That would be their best course of action.
Dead Ty Lue versus right now Jason Kidd. Who's a better coach?
Dead Ty Lue. He's just on the sideline laying down.
Maybe like the government is inventing something. If you can get it to game 7, the government invents something that brings his brain back to life and he can coach game 7. But you have to just do dead guy versus Jason Kidd for the next 2 games.
Imagine that meeting with the government. They're like, we'd love to test this technology on it, but you guys got to get to game 7.
Gotta get to game 7. We're fine tuning it right now. So sorry guys. We have one lobbyist request. BLT Sammy once again. How have the Clippers and Mavs positions as quote unquote championship contenders changed, or were they appropriately judged? It's hard to call them appropriately judged. They were pretty like wildly variant.
Yeah.
Like people thought the Mavs were like right there with Denver in terms of contending for a title. People thought the Clippers had absolutely no shot, even if Kawhi was healthy. Like there's just a huge spectrum of opinions I saw on these 2 teams. I think they've both gotten worse as far as title contenders go. I was higher on both of them at the start of the playoffs than I am currently, and I don't know how much better that's going to get.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as it has changed because Kawhi and Luka's health has changed. And so if those guys were fully healthy, they'd probably still be battling it out, but it'd probably still be a close series, but we'd be more confident in them going into the next matchup. But they're not.
I'm curious what Luka's like if the Mavs win. I'm curious what Luka's knee looks like. Because, like, if Luka could get to just, like, 36% three-point percentage, is it, like, him or Shea? I wonder who the best player in the series would be. Because Shea would probably be – he would be better than he was in the Pelicans series. Like, the Mavs don't have the kind of perimeter guys that New Orleans does. Dante Exum and Derek Jones, you guys will have your hands full. I promise you that. But I think yeah, I don't know. Do you think Dallas would have the best player in the series if it's like 20% more than what Luka's doing right now?
I don't know. It's hard. I would still feel they're on the same level, but I don't know if I could clearly say one is better than the other because Luka's just that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I don't know. his athleticism, obviously his deceleration is such a big part of his game, but largely like it's the 3-point shot, like we talked about, that suffered a lot since his injury. So I would probably lean Shea still, even with like Luka playing a little bit better, but it could go either way. I think that is a game where Oklahoma City's depth would really come into play, or a series, I suppose.
I just got a text from a friend who doesn't watch basketball. He said,
Yeah.
I've been getting Anthony Edwards TikToks. He's funny AF. Can they win? And this also happened to me yesterday. So
Damn, Anthony
the
Edwards
Anthony Edwards
stocks.
effect. It's coming.
There was a big tweet where like he's the most viewed star on NBA
Yeah.
social media. He has like generated like 100 million views since the start of the playoffs or something. I would assume
Yeah.
the John Collins dunk did crazy stuff for his overall.
I think it is just from the start of the playoffs.
Okay, well, shit, man. Yeah, I mean he's great. He's great. Plus
They
that
used to
clip
throw
of
those
him.
Wemby stats with that. They're like 1 billion people watched Wemby highlights. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa. Well, did Wemby clap at Kevin Durant? Real cool. Did we get a passing of the torch moment with Wemby? Not yet. Not until he finally beats a 36-year-old Nikola Jokic to move into the NBA Finals. That's what's going to happen with Wemby's career arc. What's that? 8 years from now? Yep, Wemby's just going to keep running into Jokic, and he definitely won't be better by him or by then. So,
He'll
yeah.
finally meet Cooper Flag, Kobe White, and
No,
and Will
Cooper
Barton
Flag
Jr.
and Bilal
in the final.
Coulibaly. Cooper Flag and Bilal Coulibaly in the finals.
And well, then Wemby would be there.
No, he's going the
with
year
Coulibaly.
after. We're getting he's the next Kevin Durant. He loses in the finals
Is it
to
Schrader?
Coulibaly, and then he goes to Washington. It's a new dynasty, baby. Hell yeah. All right. That's the whole Western Conference. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I'd say timestamp the end and to get these guys out of our face.
Yeah, let's do it. You guys, patreon.com/state of the league. We're talking about the Eastern Conference tomorrow. There's actually a lot of interesting stuff with how the Knicks and the Sixers worked out and all that.
It'll be friggin' epic.
It'll be epic. I'm working. I promised somebody in my TikTok comments I would do a Derek White would you rather, because I haven't talked about a single Celtics playoff game besides the Miami Heat win on my TikTok page yet. So yeah, I'll work on that. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.